Thank you.
Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness inside.
Welcome back to All About the Grind. I'm Brandon Barfield, your host, and I have guests Brett Blankenship and Dave Hopek with me.
Thank you for having me.
As always, on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. And
Awesome.
hit that notification bell to make sure you get All About the Grind.
Bing!
We just caught every Zoomer in the audience with a YouTube voice, so.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much. By the way, Brandon Barfield here, who is a, can I use the word engineer? Or
I'm a software engineer, yeah.
software engineer. Dave and I would probably say brainiac.
Very much so.
Very much so. So Brandon is the behind the scenes, not paid.
He's our tech guy.
He's our tech guy. He's our IT go-to. Owe $400 an hour, never pay him a dime kind of guy. I'm gonna tell you something. He has seriously, Brandon. You have been an impact in us and learning. You showed us one more thing tonight.
Just today, yeah.
Just today, and we'll be using it in this episode. Well, what is this? 15 or no? This is 16. Episode 16. We're moving up, Dave.
Moving
I think
on in
it's
the world.
15.
Well, I'll put it in the
You'll
title.
know by the title.
How about that? Yeah, no. So for me, this is about being the cutting edge of the future.
Yes?
Because in reality, you and I are the old folks now.
Oh, without a doubt.
And he is the leading edge of the new generation.
He's about to talk about a lot of things that I
think
never wanted to.
I've been your youngest guest, right? I'm 33, so.
Yeah, you are my youngest guest.
Yeah.
Now, I have just ran into a father-son duo that we'll be bringing on one day, but that'll be down the road here a little bit.
Very nice.
No,
That's it.
he's not the youngest.
No?
Who was-
Zach and Tanner.
Okay, that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
I didn't watch the episode, so.
Yeah, the baseball. It was good. It was good. They have their own unique styles. That was fun. You, on the other hand, have a technical side, but what I'm also interested in is your interests, but more importantly, even is where you get your information from in this generation. So, like when you go to watch, do you watch typical news?
No. Well, kinda.
So when you go to get your information, like about politics or whatever, today's news, to find out the weather and what's going on, where do you go?
So generally, I try to find, like, there's this amazing site called Ground News, and it will show you like a bunch of articles about a topic and say like, hey, here's their bias one way, the other, if they're neutral, things like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that is a phenomenal site.
Ground News?
Yeah, Ground News. But generally, like, unlike most millennials, I try to stay away from alternative news because there's no accountability there. So, like, when it comes down to it, it's when you have things like even mainstream media like Fox News, CNN, things like that, there's accountability there.
Yeah.
Like, they are beholden to stakeholders, they are beholden to ratings, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So if they do something wrong,
And the CNN's watching Fox, and Fox is watching CNN
Oh, yeah.
and all that.
yep.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. So when it comes down to like, if you go to YouTube and just like search up a topic, you have no idea if that person's telling the truth. You have no idea if that person's being paid by someone.
Yep.
Did you hear about, what was it, Tenant Media, I think? They just got, there are two people who got indicted because they were taking money directly from Russian state. And they were funding a whole bunch of other people. Those other people, some of them knew and some of them didn't. I don't remember the exact indictment, but like there was like a huge thing about that.
You realize, both being IT and being younger, but on the leading edge, you realize how much, like, me and Dave really don't understand how the Russians can take over the whole internet news. Am I lying?
Not at all.
So you have a full grasp of it. My brother-in-law had it years ago. I thought he was cuckoo. Don, I owe you a beer. He lives in New Zealand. But I remember him talking about weird stuff. And now all of a sudden, how do you deny some of this?
So there's something really important to know, especially about internet today. Have you heard of dead internet theory?
No, but you're going to, I love you. Okay, give it to me.
So eventually, like as time goes on, what you'll realize is most of the internet, like people talking to each other, aren't actually people, they're bots.
Exactly.
Go to Twitter, especially post like Elon Musk takeover.
Right.
Twitter's terrible. X,
Right.
whatever. I call it Twitter still. You'll see like a real person start a Twitter thread. Every single comment will be a bot. And then they're like, the bots are talking to each other.
Right.
You'll click into one account and it'll be like this weird photo of like what looks to be a normal person. Could even be AI generated at this
Right.
point.
Absolutely.
And it's like all the comments they're making are the same. All of it is like to other people who are exactly like people who
Right.
are exactly like it. It's crazy.
Do you ever drill down? Because I'm that goofball. I smoke a little bit and I start drilling down and I chase this guy and that guy. And I find where I'm going, okay, this is a bot.
Yeah.
It's almost like the letters that the emails and the texts you get where they purposely misspell stuff. And I don't know if people know this, but the reason they do that is they want the smart people eliminated.
Yeah. Well, it also makes it feel more authentic.
It does, but they make stupid mistakes so that somebody like you or me or Dave go, this is fake, because they don't want us, because they're going to waste a lot of time. And so the knuckleheads keep reading and keep following the Nigerian king that needs their $50,000 or whatever, 5,000, whatever. I mean, I've been took. Not. Have you ever been took online? Let's see. Have I been scammed online?
Oh, scammed?
David, let me think. You've been around me.
I'm really bad because I do a lot of my purchasing on Amazon.
I don't do any.
You don't do any?
No.
That's amazing.
No, I know.
I have a story about a class I took recently, but I'll go to that in a second.
My
Amazon
wife
is like,
Well, even here at the store,
on
we'll be
Amazon.
like, we're going to order something on Amazon. He's like, no, go to the store, grab it, and bring it to the register.
well, the main thing is like, speaking of internet bots, almost all Amazon reviews are like fake nowadays. So like, you don't know if that 5-star review is actually. There was a site, it's down now. I think it was like Meta Review, but it actually went through and like you probably used AI to determine what reviews were bots, take it out, and give you like a real score of the item.
Yeah, because they had those companies that would put just ton of 5-star reviews on there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you have some local low character people that put fake 1-star reviews on, and then the idiot that left the 1-star review used a real stupid name.
Oh no,
It's hilarious, and you can track them right back to the owners of this other store. It's hilarious. So, anyways,
but yeah, you don't use Amazon at all.
okay, I'm trying to think. No, I'm not afraid to buy things. It's just
Not afraid,
I
but-
like to go touch it before I buy it. I'm
Okay,
still
that
that
makes sense.
generation that and I don't understand. Like my wife, like shoes. I would never buy shoes online. How do you know they fit? Every shoe is different.
I mean, I was just talking about Amazon being bad, shilling out for Amazon. Like, you can just return it. Like,
Okay, that's what my
these
daughter
are from
says.
Amazon.
That's what my daughter says.
Yeah.
And so you just sit at home and you literally order everything.
Yeah. Not everything. There
No,
are
I
some things I
understand.
would like go
But I
and
mean,
buy, but
could you
I
imagine?
would not. I'm looking for a new car. I would not buy a car online. Absolutely not.
Now, see, I would buy a car online.
Real.
Now, I would.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I would buy a car from the guy Carvana, or now that they don't do the clouded title ones, they have good cars now. And so when we were looking recently, I looked at Carvana, and so yeah, I guess
Not worried about like getting in the car and like muffler falling off or something.
Well, my gosh, every place I go to around here, you're rolling the dice with a used car. Anyways, I don't buy new. I'm not buying 2025s. Let the other idiots pay $70,000. I wait till that truck gets down to about 40,000 2 years later, and it's got 30,000 miles. And
Speaking of where you get information, there are things on YouTube that are really good, because one of the cars I was looking at buying was the new Dodge 2025 electric Charger. And those reviews for the 2-door Scat Pack came out, and it was like, I watched someone get in it. They were like, they were driving down a highway, and they hit the gas, and it took a full second for the car to actually start picking up.
Bubba.
I was like, absolutely not. Not no.
But you are the gentleman that would sit in a car and let it drive you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I will
Well,
never
okay.
let a car drive me.
I say
don't
that
know if I could do that
confidently.
either.
Not right now, absolutely not. But in the future, yeah.
But do you know guys like you smoking a little weed? All you guys are around. You know what? Let's start messing. And all of a sudden you come down that street and you take over my Tesla truck or whatever. And, you're not trying to hurt anybody. And then, dude, they've already shown where they can. I mean, these big scammers online that, man, what's a real skinny guy? Golly, I need his name. I should have had it. We'll talk about him some other time. I'll put it in the comments. But he's a leader on scam technologies, and so I watch a lot of him. him and the India scammer.
When you say leader, do you mean is he one of the people like turns around the scams and Jim Browning?
No,
or
he-
Mark
he-
Mark Raw?
He used to be a scammer, and now he teaches. I think it was that. That's usually how most of them. I mean, because they're self-taught.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mr. Beast, he was self-taught. He does that. He believes in that 10,000 hour. I don't know that book, but there's a book out there about.
It's like if you've done something for 10,000 hours, then you can be considered
You're a master.
professional.
Yeah, a master at it. And I found that to be true. I mean, I'm 54, and you start adding.
There's a great Bruce Lee quote, right? I believe it's Bruce Lee. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Same principle.
Ooh, that's good.
No, I'm a man of many quotes. So
Okay, I love quotes. My problem is I can't remember them. That's why I have this pad.
I remember the quotes, and I'm like, who was that again? I don't.
I do love my favorite quote of all time, Dave. Let's see if you can say. Do you know it? Okay, it's. I'm not trying to put you on the
I
spot.
know. I'm trying to remember.
Now you're gonna put me on the spot and make me excellent.
What's your quote?
I know. I got it. It's coming. It takes a second. Excellence is not a singular act.
Yeah.
By Aristotle.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that. Now, there's many variations that you see,
Yeah.
but for me, I find that to be very true. That nothing I've done, and that's sort of like the 10,000 hours concept. Nothing I've done has come easy. You know, nothing I've done has come fast. I don't know many that do. Even social media, Mr. Beast, who I want to talk about a little bit in a second. But I mean, he's been at it since he was 14. Well, actually, since he was 11.
I'm nodding like I'm agreeing. I actually know nothing about Mr. Beast.
Oh my gosh!
I know
he's a
like,
huge
was
philanthropist.
You and him,
absolutely.
you and him.
I love the meme videos about him though. It's like due to recent backlash, I have reblinded 1,000 people.
Yes.
I love those memes.
you and him remind me of each other. Am I wrong?
A little bit.
Let me tell you why,
Maybe that's
and
why I
tell
don't
me if
watch
I'm
him.
wrong. Yeah. Well, I think once you watch him, my son's got me hooked on him. He's a philanthropist, but he is broke. Now he can make money really fast, but he keeps none of his money. Like right now, he lives in he drives a modest car. I think it's a used Tesla or something like that.
He drives a modest car and gives away Lamborghinis.
Yeah. And money's not the factor for him. It's content, and he is all about the art of, and he is so detail oriented. He is difficult to work with. Are you difficult to work with? I'm not talking about a jerk to your boss, but
it's funny. So I'm on a team of 3 at work. I work for University of North Florida.
yeah,
I'm on a team of 3.
my alma mater.
And awesome.
Ospreys.
Me and my coworker Aaronette, we are basically the exact opposites. Like we will talk about like a problem we're having, and then she'll approach it one way, I'll approach it at the other, and literally we will be looking at it. What do you mean by that? What? Explain that the other way. So yeah, no.
And so
Even
you don't
with
mind bouncing ideas.
people exactly opposite of me, I'm generally pretty easy to work with.
I think there's times I'm tough to work with.
There is.
Dave.
And that's why I say generally. I'm not
Yeah.
always the easiest person.
But
to work with.
if you okay, let's say you had an underling and or a newbie, a greenie. What do you call them? What do you call when somebody's new?
I actually used that term underling in a interview once, and I had like the entire panel on the other side laughing at me because I was so nervous I couldn't think of the word staff member.
Okay,
or
staff,
team member.
yeah, I mean, or
But yeah.
assistant, whatever.
Yeah.
You get a new assistant in, and he's there to learn from you, like apprentice, an apprentice, but he's paid. And he doesn't follow your systems that you have been taught, and that UNF has standard operating procedures for things that y'all do. Yeah, you have variety, you can branch out, but in the standard stuff, and he's not fitting into that, are you easy to deal with?
Oh yeah.
Still.
I mean, as long as like before,
No, but he's messing up your job because
If
he's
he's-
not following your procedures that make it efficient.
if he's messing up. So I like the idea that like I'm not perfect. So anything I can do, anything that I'm doing can be improved on.
I agree.
So if he's doing something a different way, as long as it's not breaking anything and he's doing it in the way that's most efficient to him, absolutely. I would like,
Okay.
if he's messing things up, that's when I'll step in.
So you walk into the equipment room, and you know as well as I do in your world, if the cords aren't rolled right or they're bent too tight, and you're gonna I get on Dave like us walking over, and If he's not doing that kind of stuff, and your next shoot then takes longer to set up and longer to put up, damaged equipment. So if he's not doing those little things, and you keep telling him, and you keep telling him, you do progressive discipline, you counsel, does there come a point where you go, dude?
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't even be that far if it's like, if I tell you something like 3 times and you still don't, probably even twice, the 3rd time, you're really not going to like me. Now, after that, after like, you know, so my degree is in computer science and management. So I didn't take a double major. I took something called interdisciplinary studies, where I get to like basically choose my own degree. I have a whole bunch of computer science and a whole bunch of like management / leadership.
Right.
It's always, there's the idea of public praise and private punishment. Like if he's doing something that's like, if anyone is doing something that's like not according to guidelines at work, you bring him to the side. You say, don't do this.
Right.
Fix this. Here's how you do it. Make sure you train them well.
Right.
And then when they actually do something right, you're like, good job. That everything here looks amazing. You do that part in front of the rest of the team. That way you're reinforcing like good behaviors. You're not like publicly humiliating anyone in the middle of where they have to come to work every day. Like that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. But I agree with that. I think I've probably done some public that I've had to apologize for over my years. I know I have. Matter of fact, heck, I think even with Dave, I've had to apologize. So he's shaking his head. Yes. No one
You have a few times.
No one can see you shaking your head going, yes, butthead, you have. I know I apologize to my wife 1,000 times. Your mama, who is a dear partner of mine in business, certainly had to apologize to her many times. Hi, Miss Becky. We love you.
Hi.
So, you do love your mama.
Oh God, yeah.
She's already sitting at home going, wonder when they're going to put it on.
I will put it up early. You won't know this because I'm not telling you this, but I will. I'll try to have it up by 12 tomorrow because she'll
There
be
we go.
texting me and calling, Brad.
Yeah.
She was like, are you sure you don't want me to come in? Like I could be there with you. I'm like, seriously, I'm 33. Stop.
She is protective.
Oh God, yeah. You should have seen me growing up.
Wow, but it's sort of because she's protective of me. It's really interesting. So I've gotten to feel a little bit. I mean, she is a mama in a lot of
She's
ways.
a mama here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
To ad nauseum at times. So, but here's what I've always said. I had rather somebody love me too much than act like they love me, not love me at all. I'll take that kind of love. If you annoy me because you love me so much, what a great problem to have. So you grew up being loved. I mean, you just, and that gives you a comfort to expand your brain and where you want to go and the comfort of your life.
yeah.
Did you know what you wanted to do?
So for the most part, yeah. I actually started my college career with electrical engineering.
And at UNF or at
at FSCJ. When
I'm
I
alma-
started,
my alma
it was
mater.
FCCJ at
Me
the time.
too.
So yeah.
Yep, that's where I went.
So I started with electrical engineering, got to Calc 2 and was like, absolutely not. And then I switched my degree to computer science. Yeah.
And so you knew you'd be working behind the scenes. And you knew
That's something I've always like been a fan of. I never like being the person on stage, which when I show you pictures of going to MegaCon in a bit, that was nerve-wracking. It was really fun, but nerve-wracking. And then I always wanted to be the person like, you've ever seen the show Bird Notice?
Bird Notice.
Bird Notice.
B-U-R-N.
B-U-R-N, yeah. Have you, Dave?
Yeah.
Fantastic show. I believe that's the one where there's like a season where it's like the man behind the man. I always wanted to be that guy. I never wanted to be like the face, the here's what happens, here's like,
Because y'all have the real power.
kind of, yeah.
I mean, you get the ultimate narrative is set by y'all. Y'all do the editing.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. So I did a bit of video editing a few years back, and I was working part-time at the time, but we made videos that were probably like 2-3 hours long at some point, and trying to edit that in a multicam setup, whew, that's a nightmare. It took so much time.
And then, so you went to UNF afterwards, right? So you realize that when you walk those halls, I was in that communication hallway and I had touched all those little VHS back when I went to UNF.
That's why you had to fix it.
That's why they were all broken.
I'm telling you, I would get in there. I would start turning knobs.
Ooh, what's this do? You just blare the speakers in Osprey Plaza.
If you and I were in there together, I would have pegged you very early. We would have been friends. I would have carried your books, and I wouldn't have touched anything you told me not to touch. And I'd have got my B, you'd have got your A, and we'd have scooted on.
Yep.
So, but I will tell you, UNF was really good for me.
Mm-hmm.
There are some really dynamic teachers at FSCJ, and FCCJ back then.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some teachers. Dave's heard me talk about them. There was one teacher at UNF who was a public relations teacher, and I took a public relations class.
Remember their name?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
Dadgummit. I've tried. I haven't gone back and looked. I need to, because he really had impact on how I wrote, how I speak, and he would like come up with diesel fuel spills in the Gulf, and you have 15 minutes to write a press release. You know,
We were literally just talking about this last week.
yeah, and I mean, he had a big red marker, and I would write this book because I can talk fast, come up with some ideas fast, but a lot of fluff in between, a lot of ands, and he would come through and just, I mean, I would have a
redline
page.
everything.
But before you knew it, going through I'd get so frustrated because we needed that. And before we were done, by the time we were done, we would have a 100-word, thesis sent out, just a small press release, and that thing was gorgeous and said everything. And I mean, this allows me to get to jabber and have fun, but that's intense. Your job, it can be intense.
So one of my favorite classes was, I believe it was computational structures. And
I don't even know what that is.
Had, instead of being like multiple choice, it was 10 essay questions. We had 2 hours to do it. That was by far one of the classes I've learned the most in. It's like 10 essay questions. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was like his test structure. So we had 3 tests.
So you had 12 minutes to write each essay.
Yep. Now it wasn't a long essay. It wasn't like papers long. But still it was. But when you have to write down what you're doing and why it's like working in that way, you learn so much more than just doing something.
Yep.
So especially right now with my current job, my boss's boss, like we hit it off immediately. He's such a good guy. Jason Jones, but he we were talking. It's like the best way to learn: see one, do one, teach one. And it's that teaching part that actually gets you to like reinforce everything that you thought you knew. Because like if you do something wrong, the second you tell someone to do something wrong, they're going to notice and they're going to be like, come back to you like, what do I do? How do I fix this?
See one,
see one, do one, teach one.
I love it. That's good. I know that. Really good, I don't think that's new, but it's new to me. See one, do one, teach one. That's pretty cool.
There's a
that's developing culture. That's literally the base foundation of culture and business and life and relationships. If somebody could just do that in any facet of their life, there's a nugget right there from a 33-year-old. No, but watch this. From a 33-year-old man passed on to a 54-year-old knucklehead over here, and then it came from who? Where did you get that from?
So me and my boss's boss talked about it, but it's a widely like known teaching thing.
But who did you hear it from first?
That's an amazing question. I couldn't tell you.
That's okay. That's okay.
So
I just like to see where the wisdom comes from. It's really cool.
Very quickly talking to me that like I will remember a ton of like little things, but when it comes to like names, places, times,
I'm the same.
I'm absolutely terrible about it. Yeah.
I have been to some of the coolest places with my dad. In Brazil, and I mean, we went to these waterfalls. I can't even remember. I can't even tell you the towns I was in. I live in the moment, and wherever I was in the Amazon or in a tree forest when we were buying furniture down there, and I was just in the moment. And that if you had me look on a map and tell you where I'd been, I have to call Mr. B.
See, it's weird because I can remember everything that I've done like that.
Yeah, Bam can too. Like you would watch a lot of these pro athletes, and they would pitchers especially. Greg Maddux. Back in 1987, it was the 4th inning, and it was a 2-1 count. I'm going, how do you remember that? They talked about one thing with Greg Maddux, who is my favorite pitcher of all time, but I liked him because of the science of what he did. He actually could throw faster than he did. He could throw 96, I think, about 96, and he would toll down his number to about 92, 91, but he was about placement, hitting the spots. Well, it was 2 months before the playoffs. They were playing, don't hold me to this, people, but I believe it was the Detroit or somebody and they were going up against their number 4 hitter who was a stud, and he threw him a cutter, and he left it hanging. And the Braves were already up big, so they were winning the game, and the guy crushed the home run. And the catcher's, it's on TikTok and all, the catcher's talking about it, and the catcher's like, why'd you do that? And he goes, hey, remember that pitch? He goes, 2 months from now, he's going to be looking for that pitch again. And so 2 months later, they're in the playoffs. He said, they're a good team. We're a good team. We're going to see him again in the playoffs. He said, so I wanted to give him something.
He set him up.
2 months later, they're in the playoffs. He calls a pitch, throws a cutter, and it cuts the way it's supposed to. He didn't hang it, and the guy strikes out. And he looks at the catcher and he says, hey, you remember 2 months ago?
Nah.
And I'm like, wow. I mean, I don't know that I have that kind of a ability to do that. Mm-hmm. So I think mine's more through focused repetition. Oh, yeah. Most of what I do has been done for so many times, and I've tried so many different angles that I've learned what worked and what the 100 different ways that worked, the 100 different ways that didn't, So that's true in any business, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you find it in yours?
Yeah. Now, I'm like generally, when it comes down to it, when I pick up something new, I will like get really good really fast, and then hit a plateau, and then either drop like the hobby or whatever it is, or like it takes a ton of work to get even a little bit better. So when it comes to like games and stuff, I will pick it up, be really good, and then like never get like above gold. But my friends,
because you get bored, or
I'm a fast learner in some areas, but like, again, once you start going up against like people who are really good or like trying to learn skills that are very difficult, then it's like,
you know what I see? I see that your skill sets are so broad that the guy you're playing, that's the only thing he plays.
Yeah, that's a lot. So speaking of quotes, the quote that like put me on this path, I remember very clearly. It was from 8th grade English. There was a book, Cheaper by the Dozen, which was turned into like, I believe,
the movie.
Steve Martin, yeah. But the book is completely different, and there's a quote from there. I don't remember who says it, but it's he thought a genius was not a man who knew everything about something, but a man who knew something about everything. And like, even to this day, I remember that quote like clearly, and that's just. I love learning. I love going, like, even in my interviews, I mentioned, you'll walk into my office and I will be on YouTube, but it's my second monitor content. It'll usually be something educational, but like, I'm actually working on my first monitor.
When you studied in school, could you study in a quiet room?
No.
Me neither. Did you always have the TV on?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
To quiet your mind? Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. That's why I love the show.
Also,
this is,
ADHD, but
is that what it is?
Probably.
So I'm ADHD?
Very likely.
I think everybody would probably say your mom's probably going, yeah. I love you, Miss Becky. What is ADHD? I mean, okay, I know what ADHD is, but how do you define? Are you ADHD? Are you?
So I'm not diagnosed. I believe I am.
Understood.
I've talked to my doctor about it, and she mentioned that like, if it's not affecting your life, like you shouldn't get tested because it's so over-diagnosed, over-medicated, all that fun stuff. But when she said that, I was like, I don't know if it actually is, because I've never not been ADHD. I do drink a ton of coffee. And that's like, sometimes caffeine will have the opposite effect on me, which is like, I can drink a cup of coffee and go to sleep. Like,
see, that's me.
Immediately. But apparently that's a sign of ADHD. But again, like, I know I didn't want to be medicated for it, so I was like, I'm not even going to go get tested. But the more I think about it, more I'm like, I probably should at least take a test.
You think so? I mean, okay, but
so ADHD, I believe, is your brain needs either it doesn't produce as much dopamine. I believe the name is, again, terrible.
That's okay.
So your brain requires more stimulus in order to make up for lack of that specific chemical, which is why you treat ADHD
Adderall.
with stimulants. Yeah, Adderall.
Yeah.
So like I would be more willing to do wild things to get to that dopamine level, that kind of stuff.
I don't know about judgment on it. I haven't done enough research on it.
Because I did some pretty impulsive stuff. Yeah. I mean, that I look back and go, oh my gosh.
Something that I learned recently, and like it explains, the past 30 years. Negative thoughts are more stimulating than positive thoughts. So
I just heard that.
if you ever like are having like a great time and then like one bad thing happens, when you go home that night, later in the week, month, year, you'll always remember that bad moment just because it's just a more stimulating thought than all the positivity that you had.
Crazy how
Yeah.
how thoughts can
How
control.
the mind is an amazing thing.
Amazing computer. And
also,
they say we use what? 10% of it?
that is
Do you believe
complete
that?
myth. No.
Okay, good.
So
Talk to me.
Every myth has some or lie
Right.
has some sort of truth to it. Do you know what using 100% of your brain is called? Having a seizure. Like all your neurons are firing at the same time. That's why your body like convulses and all that fun stuff. Which is just one type of seizure. Obviously, there are all like plenty other types.
Right.
But we use about 10% of our brain at any given time.
Got it.
That's because you have tons of areas that are like the logical side, emotion, math, language.
Can you feel-
optics is like actually in the back of your head. So if you get punched in the back of the head, that's why you black out.
Yeah. I know. I've had a few blackouts.
Dang, it's a punch, a floor, whatever it is.
I was going to say some self-induced and many not self-induced. Well, I guess the mouth would be self-induced.
There you go.
I said, Hulk. Dave, start the truck. This is going to be a big one. I didn't even have to say that. I kid you. Were we in Daytona?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Listen to me. Look, right here. We're authentic, but I'm here to live. So we're not going to mention, I'm not playing. We're not mentioning the bar. But we happened to be at some bar that might have had a couple bikes there. And there was some biker lady on the bike. And I had a good evening. And Dave was driving. So I didn't have, everything was safe. And I wasn't being mean as a motorcycle. And so I got on the motorcycle.
He gets on this motorcycle with the girl
Oh no.
and revs it.
I went, oh, they all came out.
Oh,
They
all of
all
them.
came out.
Fun.
I'm like, and I'm running. Dave,
Start
the truck.
It was like the Dukes of Hazzard episode.
I should have died
That's
that night.
amazing.
I don't know. Yeah, they must have really been in a good mood, or just known
Yeah,
you can't.
let you live.
Yeah, you can't kill stupid.
It's one of those things like this guy's really that dumb.
No,
If you're
he's
gonna
just
be dumb, you got to be tough. So.
Or maybe they said, "Hey, let's recruit him."
He could be the fall guy.
He could be the idiot we put out front. I did watch. I'm jumping just a second, but this was pretty interesting to get off all that stupid stuff. I watched an interesting little bit about wolves, and I always thought that the leaders of the pack and everything were up front. You would think, no, they put the older up front so that they can set the pace. And then the tough guys, the young, the 33-year-old, in their primes, they ride right behind that. So if they get attacked first. They're fighting it, and the youngins get around, and then they run all the young kids and women in the middle. Then they have another tough pack behind them.
Wow.
I mean, nature is so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Do you watch nature shows and everything?
I haven't for a while, but like back when I had cable, Animal Planet and
Yeah.
Discovery would be like my go-to. So
Yeah. What's your favorite animal?
Tiger.
Tiger.
Yeah.
You
Wolf
and
is a
my wife.
close second, but
I have a wolf. I have a wolf on my shoulder. I love the
nice.
wolf. But see, I thought. I mean, I know they're packish, but what's the ones that roam alone? Don't say hyenas because they run in packs.
No, they run in packs.
Is there
who-
a canine that roams alone? I don't know that.
Or
so-
is it no, I don't know. Listen, I thought the heart wasn't a pump, man. What do you want from me? Okay, don't start.
What did you think it did?
I fixed it. I said it in the thing. I drilled down on something and I was amazed. Well, like your liver and filter. I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not going to try this crap. Let's
Try
not
it. Go for it. Give us
it
a
was
shot.
something. It was something about your liver filters your blood,
Mm-hmm.
but your heart does pump, but it's also a valve.
Yeah.
And it's as much of a valve as it is a pump, is what I was trying to say.
Gotcha.
I know it pumps, but anyways, it was a moment, so. Okay, so I don't know if I ever totally got it. So information-wise, and I'm going way back, information-wise, you're getting up in the morning. Do you watch news? No. Okay, so you get to work. You watch a lot of podcasts or?
Not really.
Okay.
A lot of stuff that I'll watch is like
Is it at night
technical-
that you get your info? I mean, when do you sit down and really?
So unless there's like something actively happening, I don't like go out and search for it.
Yeah.
A lot of times if I see breaking news, it'll be because I'm at work and Windows has this like little news and interest box and it'll be like breaking news on
Okay,
it. And
so
then
you
I'll
get
go
it from-
there
okay.
and see it like on MSN or something like that.
So-
Microsoft Edge. But no, unless something is like happening, like it's, you know, an election year, local
Right.
elections, things like that, I don't actively like try to search. I've found for most people, if you try to keep like breaking news, especially, but like politics out of your life, unless it's actively affecting something, you're just way happier.
I 100% agree. Dave, how often did
Oh,
I used
I was
to
going to
talk?
say, you're like that. You don't pay
I-
attention to news much.
But remember how, well, you don't remember probably, but my wife can attest to this, that, I mean, I was up, I mean, you know me, I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I kick on the news and I would have the news and then I'd have the Bloomberg stocks up on my iPad. And oh yeah, I was
So
that guy.
Well,
I was that guy.
My friend just told me about the Robinhood app.
Yes.
And funny throwback to like me being really good at things. Like at the beginning, they
Yeah.
were like, when you get rich, you got to like give us some of that money because we told you about the app. I had put in $1,000. I bought $500 of Nvidia and $500 of Amazon, and I was on that app every day. Like it's going up, it's
Staring
going
at it.
down. I eventually said, this is causing me too much stress. I'm going to buy out. I sold all my Nvidia stock the day before DeepSeek came out.
Oh,
It went from
no.
like 100. Well, no, that's good.
Oh, it
because
doesn't-
it went from like $140 to like $110 per share.
So you look like a champ.
Oh yeah, I look amazing. I made like $7 on Nvidia
That's
after keeping
awesome.
it for like 6 months.
I'm just a meme coin guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Listen, if
no.
you're going to get lucky,
don't get pump and dump though.
no, I don't pump. But I'm tell you what, Dogecoin, I made a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
I made a ton of money.
When it comes, like we were just talking about Mr. Beast, when it comes to things on the internet and like these meme coins, all that stuff, it's the right place, right time. Like there are hundreds of thousands of people trying to start YouTube
Yep.
channels probably per day.
Yep.
And it's like, if you get the right audience at the right time,
Yep.
you're going to blow up and be the next like Asmongold or something. But
And you
not
know-
for most people just stop
Drill
doing it with
through
like
it.
10 subscribers and just never pick up their channel again.
And you nailed it right there. It's really about consistency. It's about staying power. That's the sort of why we call it all about the grind.
And it's also about like recognizing trends, especially when it comes to like
I
trying to
agree.
get big. Have you heard of Pirate Software?
No.
So Pirate Software is a YouTuber going through a lot of controversy right now because he turned out he's like a total prick.
Oh,
But
gosh.
when he first started like growing up to be like really popular, he found out that there was a way to either not manipulate or do something with the shorts algorithm. So like if you were just on YouTube doom scrolling shorts, you saw Pirate Software and you saw
Right.
a ton of him. And the nice thing about him is he would give you like a lot of like good either educational content or just like good vibes content, like things that made people feel good instead of doom scrolling Twitter and being like, oh, you know, this happened in the world today, all this awful
Doom
stuff.
scrolling.
Yeah.
These
Oh,
are the new terms. I keep going. I love it.
You'll love like all the Zoomer
Doom
terms.
scrolling. I love it.
But yeah, so either right place, right time, or like manipulating your way to the top.
You know,
The way to do
YouTube.
it. And not manipulating is a term. It wasn't
No,
a bad
yeah,
thing. It was
no.
taking advantage of
Yep.
what you've learned.
Yep. I mean, the hashtags, I go through and do it all on this. I use as many of the the code word, not code words, but the all the words they allow me to use. New podcast, you
Yeah.
know, whether it be about Dogecoin, I'll hashtag Dogecoin in there, all the hashtags you can put in there. But there's so much to the catching somebody's eye so right away. I really, honestly, I don't know if I'm ever going to chase that. This thing's either going to grow organically or it's not going to grow.
Yeah.
And I don't
Well,
care. Go ahead.
you'll find out that organic growth will happen very quickly
Yep.
when it like
Yep.
when it tends to, when it blows up. So like, what are you at right now? 50. I saw
Oh,
the last
58.
episode. You were
We
at
got
57?
58 subscribers.
Nice.
I know.
So I mean, more than I ever had, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm really proud.
you'll go like small,
Yep.
like small gains, probably like 200, 300.
Yep.
And then that is the point where a lot of people either stay for the rest of the lifetime of their channel, or they're going to hit a point where they should shoot up to a few thousand, like overnight, basically.
And I
that's
think
like the way the trend goes.
I think the real thing, it is fun to talk about it. I think the real thing though for me is I really don't care.
And I mean, that's
I
the way
think
to do it.
I think that's what helps me is if I get something out of you, that's what I look for is you're going to help me grow and help me figure out why I'm such a knucklehead in certain areas. And then I have wisdoms in other areas. And that's sort of what this journey is about. Finding other grinders and other positions, other generations. And I mean, here you are, you've been at UNF for how long now?
Full time, I've been there for 5 years, part time 10.
Yes.
So 10 in total.
Yeah,
8. Going on, it will be 9 this month. So 9 years this month.
I imagine y'all don't have much turnover once you get, I mean, you're.
It depends. So when I was part time, I was a student worker, and they turn over basically every year because if you're not a student, like if you graduate, bye.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the professional positions, it's like, yeah, you're there forever. Like you either die or like get offered, more money than you can refuse.
Right. So you do videos for all departments and like not just videos, but what does your department do?
So I am a service management engineer, which means that I work in a platform called ServiceNow. Hey, they actually gave me that cup for free, and I've been using it a lot. It's amazing. But so if you've heard of a ticketing system, think like the big ones are like Jira or Team Dynamics or Remedy. It's that, except it encompasses the entire university. So we started with IT service management. So I was the person, actually, this was before I got hired on as an engineer. I used to be a C-Tech. So let me start from the bottom. I'll just explain my entire progression. I actually started because I met a friend who went to UNF, and he worked at the student union as a technical associate, they were called at the time. He basically
is that coding? I mean, are you writing code?
No, so that was actually for the student union was a event space. So
That's
it's
right.
fun.
I remember the new event space.
You mentioned that, like, how throwing the cords. That is exactly what I was doing at that time. So I knew exactly what you're talking about. But I did that for 3 months before they wanted me to be a building manager, and I was like, absolutely not. I've been here for 3 months. I don't know anything about this place. No. They asked me probably every month for a year before I finally said, okay, I'll be a building manager. Let's see what happens. From then, it was building this is all at the student union. This is all part-time. It was building manager, lead building manager, night and weekend manager. So I was getting ever so closer to the professional position. Well, a professional position opened up, and someone else got chosen over me. And at that point, I was like, see ya. So I wanted to stay at UNF, though. So the director of the student union at the time basically put word out, and they're called C-Techs. It's coordinated tech, but they're the techs. So each of the university is split up into different areas.
Right,
you have
departments and everything.
Academic side and administrative side.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then each of those are like the College of Arts and Sciences, oh my goodness, Brooks College of Health, things like that. So the College of Arts and Science, C-Tech, had an assistant position opened. So I did that for a year, where I was still part-time, but I got a lot of hands-on, worked with a lot of professors, screwed some stuff up, but I always tried to fix it. It's all learning.
Were they very patient with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my first week there, because at the time I wore a 3X shirt, they had to order some new ones. So I didn't have a polo because I was a dumb college student.
Right.
At the time, all I had was like a graphic tee. So I go to the chemistry department. I'm like, hey, I'm here to see this professor and fix his computer. The office manager looks at me and is like, oh, hell no. I'm going to need some proof. My card, my student ID was still a student ID and didn't say staff at the time. So I was like, let's call this extension. They will vouch for me. And it was like, oh God, I have no idea what I'm doing.
The early years are fun. None of us know what we're doing.
Yeah. At the time, it's terrible. But looking
absolutely
back,
terrifying. Yeah.
But I did that for a year. Then a position opened up for what's called admin support. So the person who was the C-Tech at the time, Courtney, she actually worked with me a ton at the student union because she would set up all the events for the board of trustees, board of, not the board of governors, but like other like high, like this
And
board
she
of
was in the
trustees.
IT department?
Yes. A position under her opened up. So I applied for that, and she immediately was like, I recognize you. Yes.
That's awesome. So that's where, I mean, and all that fun story, that's also where relationships and networking
exactly,
and not burning bridges.
One of my professors always said, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
There it is.
And when it comes down to it, it's like, yeah, like.
And the other one, I love that we're having quotes. Nobody knows how much you know until they know how much you care.
No one knows how much you know.
Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I know, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's true in my life.
It's interesting because like you can know a lot about something and not care about it. Like it's a very important idea to keep your job separate from like your identity.
Yep.
So like,
boy, I did not understand that at your age. At 33, I was running 40 some odd stores.
So I learned that with me getting passed up at the with the professional position at the student union. Like I was going very hard into like trying to be the best building manager, wanting to be like in that position, working with the professional staff there. And then like, I even changed that. So the reason why I'm IDS, interdisciplinary studies, is because I changed my degree for that position.
Wow.
So like when I got passed up for it, I was like, this, I mean,
your plan,
everything got thrown,
blew up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, I was like, going to the interviews, I was definitely overconfident. I was more like, I got this. Like, I'm going to try, but I'm also not going to try too hard because like there's no one else better than me. I'm the greatest. I'm God's gift to this green earth. Woo! But no, it was
Oh, I've been there.
Super confident.
Oh no, I had lessons to learn early on.
Yeah. Yep. So getting passed up was probably a good thing that happened, and it gave me this position I am today. So
Jeff Imperial, watch all these start tying in.
Yep.
Jeff Imperial, and I even changed. I'm learning how to change the titles to catch people's attention. I've rearranged some of the naming, and I changed the importance. No, I'm sorry, Mel Seibold. The importance of being second place. There is something special about never winning at all. Zach never won
at all would suck, right?
Well, and I guess early on, I guess is what I meant, is early on in your life, never really, I don't know that I've never really won it all. I can't think of anything. I mean, I won the state championship.
Are you saying it all or at all?
Whatever, no, whatever your
I think
goal.
You said at all. I was like, losing all the time would suck.
I did lose a lot. I have lost a lot. I've lost a lot in business. I mean, I've been kicked when it wasn't my turn to be kicked. But man, it taught me so much. It's the staying power. I know if I stay around, I'm going to figure this thing out. And I find that, and it gives me confidence. Once I learn it in one facet, I don't know about you, but I'm able to apply it in multiples.
Absolutely. Being able to like transfer knowledge, like
that's a big one.
Very important.
You don't have to relearn. I don't understand some of these people. And then you can literally watch nature and it'll teach you things that you can go, wow, look how that applies right in Occam's razor. We make everything so complex. Say
Occam's.
Occam's razor. See, I say Occam's. Yeah. That's my idiot self. You'll have to figure out my language. So if not, whatever. So
in the meantime, there's someone trying to look at the way you're pronouncing it online.
Who is Ockman? Why does he have a razor?
Occam.
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 For
I will
those
change
Googling
that.
it.
Yes.
A razor is
Tell them the whole definition.
Philosophical idea, like a theory or something. Occam's razor is the simplest solution is often the best. It's more advanced.
I think it's most often the best. What it means is, I did electrical for 5 years, and when we had electrical issues, you always go back to the source and you start in the simplest thing. And Dave sees me do it in business, and it translated. Electrical is really where it kicked in with me.
Even when we're doing this, he's like, start at the beginning. See if most of the time we can fix it just by starting it over.
Yeah, we always try to dive in the middle of a problem, and man, sometimes for us it's turn it off and let's start it back up. We don't have a whole
Brandon.
Call Brandon. Yeah.
Or especially with computers, have you tried turning off and on again? That will fix most problems.
and I have, and I think Dave can say this because we've run into some issues just about every time, except this time we're getting better at it. but
because I'm here.
it
Yeah,
knew.
the one
You'll
time
learn
you're
very-
here and we could have asked you.
You're
Yeah.
right. You'll
It
learn
all
very
went
quickly.
good.
Computers do not like IT guys. The second they're in the
straighten
room, it's
up.
like, oh, he will literally throw me away, and like I have to be on my best behavior.
Well, it's
There's
like
so
that.
many
That's
times.
just like going to a mechanic. Oh, my car's making a noise.
You
Not
did
when
that.
you bring it there.
That's because what he's saying is that computer knows that
Oh,
he
they-
will gut it
Oh,
and
yeah.
rebuild it.
Yeah.
This man will open me up and insert. He will violate me in many ways.
Oh no!
So that thing falls in line. Well, then that's a good point. We got to find a good IT guy to hang out with us every weekend.
Just be here.
And just stare at the computer, you know.
We got him on speed dial.
No, but in all seriousness, when we ran into a couple problems, we did try to use the mentality, but also I tried not to call you every time. It was later on, a couple times that we called you. We had tried a couple things because the more you push yourself into the uncomfortable and the TikTok, you coming in is one thing. Another guy that doesn't know me, you want to have everything ready and be professional and so.
Saying you didn't get ready for me? That's rude.
Oh no, we got really ready. We were here at 2:00. Actually,
2:00.
we were at 2:00. You think we're going to let you walk in and we're not ready for you?
Yeah.
I mean, the pro? No, sir.
I feel respected. Thank you.
Oh, you are very respected, especially when we get our other two cameras, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to tie it all in. It's gonna be fun.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll,
So,
I'll help out somehow.
yeah, no, they've really made a lot of this. They dumbed it down for guys like me. The YouTube is a growing enterprise.
Oh, yeah.
It's not done in any way, shape, or form. TikTok, I'll play around on it, but that's not Instagram for shorts and all that. But for what we do, YouTube is the best platform for me.
Yeah. Going onto YouTube and being able to learn effectively everything.
Everything.
Is phenomenal. Like, so ServiceNow, the platform I work in, it's large, but like still trying to find information is difficult. Because they're so like community focused, so community sourced that like you can go onto the forums
Right.
and you have you ever heard of a website called Stack Overflow? Amazing website. It will always be you'll have some obscure question and it's like someone else asked this question in 2014 and there's been no answers, or it's in 2014 and they're like, hey, I fixed a problem, closing this thread, and there's like, how?
They don't even leave what the answer was. Oh, thanks, guys.
You're right.
Jeez.
So
So where is? Do you? I'm gonna dive back into your age, and then like the 25-year-old, the 23-year-old. So that's 10 years younger than you. Do you associate with them mentally? I mean, can you think
wait, say that again.
socially, philosophically? I mean, there's a movement with the younger people. Like my kids, they could care less to own a business. They've seen me. They've seen me do really well, and they've seen me struggle. And they're like, I don't want anything to do with that. I'd rather go in the military. This one's in baseball. This one's going to be a psychologist, potentially. We'll see if she graduates. So, no. She's
She'll get to practice on daddy a bunch.
Oh yeah, oh that'll be fun.
I did tell her, I said, I like to think that I was the reason she even considered that. She said, I dealt with
fix him.
Yes. I must fix it. No, in reality, that young lady, I'll snap at Dawn Marie or something, and I don't even realize you have a day and you come in, you just snap. And when she went in college, she'd be like, Dad. And I'd turn, I'd look at her like, huh? And she said, oh, was that me? Oh, sorry. She's probably the only girl that could square me up. So, but it's because she was authentic and is, and I dig that. Your family, though, that I know, Miss Becky and y'all are authentic.
Yeah.
We're different, but we're a lot alike. So do you associate with, like when you think of socially, the way they think as far as government and hands-on, hands-off, transgender, all the woke side of it, is that?
So I've had discussions with my friends about this. I am probably more moderate Democrat than anything else. So like
That's a tough spot to fill nowadays.
Trust me, yeah, I know.
Who's moderate on the Democrat side anymore?
Well, who's moderate?
On the
period?
Republicans? I agree.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane. You can't get in the middle.
I fall very heavily. Have you ever heard of
Libertarian? You
No,
just,
I hate libertarians.
okay, what's
dude,
the
no.
difference between a moderate Democrat and a
The
libertarian.
current like modern day libertarian movement is just conservatives don't like to be called conservatives.
That's
It's
me.
insane.
Okay, so that's me.
Yeah, it's you.
I'm the idiot then.
Like, God, I can't stand the libertarian movement currently.
Okay, I don't really
Back-
follow it. I mean, what are they? So they're like they've taken over the libertarian
It's
movement.
very free market capitalism, but like, so as we're talking politics, you'll learn very quickly. The one thing I hate more than anything else is, what's the word for it? It's the like distrust of populism.
Yeah.
I can't stand populism. If you distrust our institutions, especially in America, like that is so awful. It's so like just damaging, especially to social discourse. Like when it comes down to it, if you can't trust our own government, who can you trust? Like what you look at to other like governments about our situation.
You're
it's
right.
Crazy.
It is scary to think that our government is the one we have to lean on, though.
What do you mean?
Some things.
It's not scary at all.
Well, I mean, for me, okay, so like the cereals that I grew up eating, they're still out there on the shelves with the same front packages. But when you spin them around, there's another 30 ingredients that I didn't know about until my late 30s.
Do you know what any of those ingredients do?
Not until I started researching them.
Okay. So this is the big thing where, especially like with all this discourse around the FDA is an amazing agency. Like if the FDA goes away, we are fucked. Can I curse on this podcast?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
We are fucked.
That's
like
my favorite curse word, to be honest with you.
the fact that like we have like, when I say I'm a like moderate Democrat, you'll learn very quickly, I am a capitalist. I love capitalism. Capitalism's great, but it needs to be regulated.
I agree.
Unregulated capitalism is a dystopian hellscape.
Amazon, Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. But like socialism and communism have great ideas and would work great in a perfect, like absolute utopia.
A utopia, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Did you ever watch Star Trek?
Yo, I loved it. One of my favorites.
Star Trek Next Generation is my favorite show, probably my favorite TV show of all time. And like they live in a socialist post-scarcity society. It's like I would, if there's any universe ever, I want to live in Star Trek. Like
I'm a
replicator,
Trekkie.
make me a cup of coffee. Yes.
Exactly.
But so like currently in the world we live in today, we need fast movement of like resources. So like if a pandemic happens again, being able to make vaccines in such a quick time is so amazing. Vaccines being like the modern basically a miracle. What
about the information about it wasn't the FDA, it was the CDC that said the masks and vaccines were ineffective.
I don't know where you heard that from. Do you have a
I'll
reputable article for that?
So I'll post it on the on the comments.
Masks were very good at stopping the spread. It's just that a lot of people didn't wear masks, so they didn't believe it. It's crazy. Goodness, words are hard. And you
MRI.
This is why I stay away from politics. It gets me fired up.
Because you get that's okay.
The mRNA vaccine,
right,
has been like in existence and been being tested since like the 1980s or 1990s.
Right.
Like its first human trials were in 2003. Its first human trials for infectious disease was against rabies in 2013. And, 2020 happened. It's a pandemic. People are saying this untested vaccine. What are you talking about? It's been in testing for like 10, 20 years.
Do you believe China sent it out?
No, God, no. We had the predecessor to this virus. So COVID was SARS-CoV-2.
Right.
We had SARS in like the Asian areas, like when I was growing up, 2000, like early.
They all wore
2000s.
masks back then.
Yeah. And I mean, it's gone. Masks worked. Yeah. Masks work so well that in, other cultures, if you get sick, you wear a mask.
Yeah.
And people don't even think about it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we had tons of people here that were like, take that diaper off your face. What? Why?
We Americans we don't like being told what to do.
I know.
I was one of the mask wearers.
That's insane to me.
Because
it's such a small inconvenience to do so much.
I couldn't breathe.
Come on.
No, I'm
buy
telling you,
a better mask.
I agree. I did. And so I had a mask because obviously they wouldn't let you in places. So I had the pull up for like that you use when fishing.
And if you're not within I think the term was 6 feet.
So
within another person.
that's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
So for me, distancing was more important and keeping I learned and that was what 2020. So it's 2025. I've gotten to where I don't touch my face anymore, and I wash my hands more frequently. And
I'm terrible at it. Like this entire podcast, I'm like,
yeah.
oh.
And I mean, I used to like pick at my fingers, and I've gotten better. I ran through Alabama, Mississippi, all through the hurricane. I mean, all through the pandemic, and I was in some rabid. I mean, Alabama was blowing up with the COVID and all, and I never dealt with it. But I always watched my distance. I would walk into a store, I use my
Have
elbow.
you had COVID yet? Me neither.
No, I never have. But oh my gosh, I had, what was the thing? Your mom your mom knew I had it before I did.
shingles.
Shingles. Oh my gosh. If you're in your 50s, I'm not like him. I'm not into every vaccine. Get your shingle shot. Holy crap. That was 4 weeks of hell.
Bad goodness.
And I didn't realize, okay, so we talk about ADHD. Ask your mom. I've got full-blown shingles on my head, all on the back of my head, my neck, and a little bit on my shoulder. And I mean, it was on my face. And
You're also covering your mic when you do that.
Oh, sorry.
To confirm, shingles, is that like the adult version of chicken pox? Was that it? Or is there another?
It's if you've never had chicken pox, you have the ability to get shingles.
Okay. I've never had chicken pox either, so that's fun.
I had neither.
You had not?
Well, no.
We're so similar.
No, hang on. If you hadn't had chicken pox, you can't get the shingles.
If you've had chicken pox,
okay, that's
you
what it
can
is.
get it.
Okay, right. And so I thought I had never had the chicken pox because I never had a big case. My brother blew up. He still had
I
pockets.
had scabs everywhere on my body.
Okay, so my sister had it and my brother had it at the same time. And like old school, my mom threw me in the room with them. And I never supposedly caught it. Well, obviously I caught it because I got shingles. And to this day, it's been over a year now. There's a couple spots on my head that I can touch, and it feels like the nerve, because the hair just touches nerves that goes into your head. It's like needles. It was the most painful thing I'd ever been through. So here I am, full blown shingles, about a week and a half, 2 weeks into it. I thought my face had broken out there for a second, and then your mom being
she's like, "You got shingles."
Yeah, and so I was doing a lot of traveling at that time, and and the next 2 weeks I was on the road and furniture and some other businesses, and I was probably driving. Oh, I had to go to Michigan or something. Yeah. I was driving like 16 hours, and your mom was like, "You're supposed to be laid up in bed," and I mean I was hurting. But I had energy, or maybe I didn't know. Maybe it's just my life.
It's your mentality.
There is no safety net behind me. There's nobody. There's nobody going to bail you out. That's the one thing about a small entrepreneur. I mean, you have to have that tenacity to know when to jump ship. You've seen me adjust.
Oh yeah,
it's been a battle, and so I guess you're right. The idea of having to lay down and rest, it doesn't even come to mind. It's just, it's got to get done. And I can't call Brandon. I would love to.
Even when you get, like, I've known you for a long time. When you get a cold or anything, you just keep going.
Man, my
until
ankle,
you finally hit the point where you hit that brick wall.
Yeah, but I do listen to my body, and I'll leave here or something. I'll be gone at like 2:00, and your mom's like, "Where's Brad?" Well, I'm sitting in my house getting an hour's worth of sun, eating some lunch, getting away from it, not letting my phone's in the house, petting the dogs. Your generation helps me with the mental health side of it. We were caught in our Gen. Let me say this, because this is where one of the things, we were Gen X. We had boomers in front of us. They were go, 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 me, I, and have, and we chased that. I did. I've seen our generation chase it, and now I see a shift in my kids, and you're the leading edge, and they get it. They get that mental. We have to have my time away.
Yeah. One of the, like, if you were to choose anything strongest about like the millennials and later, like understanding the importance of mental health is probably like the greatest thing that's come from this, like the newer generations. Has
not helped as many boomers, I don't think. Has helped some, but I think Gen X has learned from the millennials.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
Now this next generation is going to be interesting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we are talking about,
I will say where in strength there is weakness. When you go onto Twitter and people are using their like their mental illnesses as superpowers, that's a little bit too far.
Yes.
But no, like, yeah, the importance of like taking care of yourself is just so important to like young kids.
It didn't even cross my mind years ago when I was your age. Now I was drinking too, but I wasn't. Yeah, I was. I was drinking hard at 30. Oh, jeez.
Oh, I bet that sounds amazing on the mic.
It doesn't matter. It's the BS meter. So I was drinking hard at 33. I just got introduced to Patron.
Oh,
And
no.
yeah, but I was under so much stress running businesses and I was just traveling all the time. I was never around my
So
family.
you always had that
I
alcohol
didn't know
numb it.
I didn't know them. No, it was, I wanted a relationship of some sort. And I'm not talking about sexual. I just wanted to sit with a dude, talk football.
Oh, so it was all social.
Everything I do is business. My relationships are business. You know, anywhere I go, people know me of business. They either hate me or love me or indifferent, whatever. But it's all due to business. Not many people know me personally.
Yeah.
My circle, I don't have time for a lot of friends. And then when I do have friends, I don't have time for whiny friends. I don't have time for people that have excuses for everything because I don't have time for excuses. My life won't allow me to make an excuse. When I was going through all my alcohol related stupidities, I'm looking at a year and day in prison. You know, I had to move and something was wrong. No matter how intelligent I was and how normal I was and everything else I did, every time I was in trouble, alcohol was involved. And that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And then from there, I began to seek wisdom from other people. And what is going on? You know, and it first started because the judge encouraged me. And today I do it because what you said, teach one. That's really the basis of my growth. Is I don't care what I got. What can I pass on? A young man, you'll see it. I gave somebody. I'm not doing this. Well, it's already. But a young man was in here, and he has swords, and he does a lot of the live fighting and everything.
Oh yeah.
And he had some daggers, and the finials over there were very unique and antique-y. And so he and I got to talking, and you could tell he was not this social, guru. He was just a guy who probably sat in his room and had passions, and no one really knows this guy. That was really me, but I didn't look like him. I could hide better. I was a better chameleon.
Yeah.
But
I feel like because I'm the exact same way. Like going into social situations, I can talk like this, and especially to a camera, like just fine. The second you get me in front of more than 6, 7 people, I start shutting down. My voice starts shaking. It's terrible.
Well, I can tell you get that from your mom.
Oh yeah, really?
Your
She
mom
that
has
too?
panic attacks when she gets up at the chamber meetings.
Oh my goodness.
hang on a second. I wouldn't say I hear what you're saying. I know, and I know you. I wouldn't call it a panic attack, but she's gotten way better, by the way. But she definitely was not somebody who liked to stand up in front of people and chit chat. And she definitely would get very anxious about it. I don't know if she'd go.
She said her heart would start fluttering.
Yeah.
And everything.
Well, then that would
if
be
I
a
was
panic attack.
Heard that maybe not a full panic attack, but yeah. As we were just talking, the mind is a very powerful
It's a
thing.
very
If you get
powerful.
that fight or flight response, it's gonna
Everybody's gonna
send
hate
you.
me. Everybody's gonna hate what I say. Everybody's gonna hate. Everybody's gonna.
Yep.
For me, I think. Now, see, I was an odd one. I mean, I would go speak. We would do the home and patio shows, and I would do classes. There would be 300, 400, 500 people in there in the old days, and we would show how to finish.
And you were fine, weren't you?
No problems. And I used to speak at engagements, and then we went to Las Vegas that one time, and I dealt with my first panic attack ever. Didn't even know what it was. But years before that, living in hotels, not having that social interaction. I was so isolated from the world. It was a bubble, and I was around people all the time, and I was alone. It was weird. I'm talking to managers. I hired every guy in there. They all like me or don't like me, but for the most part, I had a really good cruise in most of my stores. I was blessed at Would You, and I wasn't the only guy. There was Bill Spiegel and other men that were involved, and other ladies in the office. So it wasn't all me, but I was somebody who dealt on the front lines, and it was really cool to have that. But they didn't know that I couldn't sit. No, I would start talking about personal stuff.
No.
And they would jump right back onto business. And I get it. And I realize they're not my friends.
Yeah.
And then that's a hollow feeling. And then they come and they're worried about their family and their life. And you're going, but wait, what about mine? And I never went and found, and that's my fault. I never went and found dudes that I could sit down, and I have them today. And I think that's why I'm more at peace. I mean, Dave's one. Dave and I talk deep. Your mom's one. I consider
Called
her.
my mom a dude?
Huh?
Called my mom a dude?
No, she's
Dude's a general neutral term.
exactly.
I got it.
In today's world, who knows what is? I don't know.
And so,
Yeah.
going back to politics, since you brought
Jump
it up,
in.
there are good conversations to be had where it's like the overblownness of like wokeness, things like that. But it's so hard to have those conversations because thing I mentioned earlier. Have you heard of the horseshoe theory of politics?
Don't think so.
So horseshoe theory is, imagine a horseshoe where it's like shaped like that. And that's the political spectrum. The further you get down that line, the closer you get to the other side. So like, sorry.
That's okay.
Like trying to have a conversation about anything, whether or not lockdowns were good. It's like, you can't
anywhere.
have that conversation because some people are like, we didn't go far enough. We should have been locked down forever. And like, who cares about the effect of the kids who are in schools? Then there's the other side, which is like, the government just wants to control us. We shouldn't have had lockdowns at all. It's like, the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Always.
But you can't have that conversation with anyone because they're about to jump down your throat
Watch
about
this.
like conspiracy theories.
They don't want, people are afraid of the uncomfortable. And if we're going to get anywhere, generational to generational, you got to be willing to hear things that I disagree with and understand that he may be right. That's the one thing science helped me with in college. They always wonder why you go to college, and some of it's stupid, but it does teach you cognitive thinking and theory and processing problems and problem solving. And I learned it early. I learned in science early that you have to be able to take what if my theory is wrong, and you have to try to disprove your own theory.
Yeah.
That changed my whole mind. Whenever that clicked in, I don't think it was high school. I mean, I took science, but I think it was really college. It was early college where I started going, wait a minute. So, and then math, you find the problem and you plug the solution back in and make sure that it solves.
Well, a lot of people, like I hear, like, especially if you like math, you're like, why do I have to write down everything? I just want to write down the solution because I can do it all in my head. It's like, no, it's very important to show your work because you want to make sure, like, teacher wants to make sure, or professor wants to make sure you're getting there the right way.
Yeah.
If you look at 1 plus 2 and you put 3, and it's like, how'd you get that? Well, there's 3 symbols. There's a 1, a plus sign, and a 2. That's 3 symbols. Like, obviously that's wrong,
Right.
but you got the right answer. So you can have the right answer, but if your like way of getting there is wrong, that's still not good. So like trying to keep things like that in mind, understanding your own thought process, why you have like going, like, I'm not saying go from like philosophical base axioms and like build your way down,
Right.
but at least having some idea of like, why do I believe this? Why do I think this is good?
If you
Why do I
can't
think this is
challenge
bad?
your own thought process, you're dangerous.
If you take any advice from this, the most important thing you can do is fight the other position. So like, for example, I believe, I'm going to choose something completely random.
Right.
I believe AI is bad.
Right.
It is of utmost importance that I be able to fight for the I believe AI is good side. So I have strong foundations on the opponent's side saying, hey, this is what they believe. This is honestly what they believe, not some crazy, like,
Right.
they're trying to kill us, they're evil,
Right.
like AI's overlords, all that. But like an honest look and discussion of like, this is why it's good. So you can say, okay, I believe this is why it's bad. Here's my counters to all those arguments. Like being able to fight from both positions in anything is so important to do, and so important for like, not only like
Progress,
but also your mental health.
Yeah.
If you go around believing every Democrat or every Republican is evil,
Yeah.
you're going to kill yourself just mentally. Like, it is an important foundation that you believe that the person who believes different from you is trying to do good for the world. If you believe they are not, they are an enemy, and you can dehumanize them at that point.
and we've done it throughout history.
And especially today, like it's really bad. Like,
I mean, I have a problem.
It's bad in history.
Like
but
the girls that had all the vagina hats. You know, I have a problem sitting down and chit chat with them. Can you take the hat off and then we can chit chat, okay? Because I just can't get my eyes off of it.
What?
You didn't see all the girls in D.C. This was years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
That walked around and this is where we got to be able to pull this stuff up and show it. and we're getting there.
Maybe not.
Not today, but soon.
Well, also don't get demonetized or censored on YouTube.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but no, they actually had hats and they were in the shape of a vagina. They were the color of a white, and it was all about women's rights and everything, which I get. I'm all for women's rights, but
things like that.
the vulgarity of it was
Sorry, like they're doing that to make a statement. Like that's, I mean,
the shock and awe.
One of the first, the First Amendment gives you like 5 freedoms: protest, assembly, like speech, all that fun stuff, press. Being able to do something like that in order to draw attention, perfectly fine. Like I don't see a problem with that. Like, do I want my kids to see it?
And that's
Probably
my
not,
point
but
is
like,
I fight for the right for her to wear that hat. I believe in the right, even if I totally disagree with BLM or any of the other things.
but you know what? Like them doing that, even us discussing that right now is moving forward their cause. And it's a good thing, assuming their cause is a good thing, which women's rights, I believe everyone believes that's a good thing. I hope.
No, it is. But, you know, everybody has such an agenda. And what scares me is that.
So I'm going to stop you there. Having an agenda is not a bad thing.
No.
It's having an agenda and having that be like either your entire like personality or whatever you call it, or like pushing that agenda so hard and not having like a firm foundation for like the belief of that agenda. I push back because I don't like that everyone has an agenda using. I don't know if you're using it as a bad phrase.
No.
But like.
No, like I have an agenda.
Yeah, everyone has an agenda.
Yeah, I mean, I want to grow my business. I'd love to sell it one day. I'd love to expand. I mean, it's a goal agenda. Yeah. It's what the agenda is.
Yeah.
It's the base is what you're saying. And I totally agree. The problem is I mean, sometimes you just don't know. I wish people, you sit here and watch Congress. Well, y'all just talk straight.
Yeah.
Will you just talk straight? Are we sending $3 million over to Google Afghanistan for transgender surgeries? I don't want that.
Oh my God. Well, it's not even that. Like
It's stupidity.
There was a report earlier where someone on Twitter picked it up, or it was an article. Someone on Twitter picked it up. Is like, we just paid, I think it was like $200,000 for researchers to spray urine on rats.
Oh, really?
What? Did you read the study? Why did they do that? It's like, oh, they gave the rats like a dish of water and a dish of alcohol, and they sprayed cat urine on it because cats are predators, and they're trying to trigger a stress response and see if they would drink alcohol or water. And it's like, well, when you put it that way,
it's a healthy study.
Makes absolutely sense to like want to like further that research.
And that's the thing is no one gives the full truth.
Yeah, everyone.
That's the bad.
Headlines.
That's the negative agenda you thought I was talking about. And they
exactly.
That's the political agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a political guy.
It's like, do you want to talk about specifics? Like
sure. You can dive right in.
The Ukraine stuff.
Yeah.
Like sending money over to Ukraine. It's like, do people honestly think that like, yeah, I'm going to write Zelensky an $86 million check and hand it to him? It's like, no, what we're sending over is things like ammunition that's going to expire that the military would be using for like training regiments, weapons that are like either in bad shape or needs repairs. Like we're sending over things that would be just thrown away anyways. We're just getting authorization to send it over. There's going to be, of course, some liquid cash in there, but like most of that is like, why let it go to waste?
Does your generation feel like Trump represents them?
You
don't have to go too deep.
Depends on the spaces. Like
Yeah, okay.
I do not at all. I know most of my friends do not. But like again, it depends on the space. If you get into like
and your mama still cooks for you,
right? That's what I said.
I mean, that is a Trump lover.
We can go into like fiery politics. Oh my God,
we're gonna get them on, Bubba. Let me tell you, we'll get them on here. And I will say, TRUMP.
Just put a bell in the middle.
We're just gonna sit back and let it go.
If you've seen the jokes about like, hey, like let's go to Thanksgiving. So I promise it won't be political. And like there's people beating the crap out of each other. Like the next scene, that's us. Like getting us talking about politics is we are.
Was she always a staunch conservative?
Yeah, I was a staunch conservative. Probably even 2016. I think I would have voted for Trump. But now I'm like absolutely not.
Yeah.
So
you would have voted for Kamala?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did vote for Kamala. But again, like. Times change, all that fun stuff. What was the point of that?
That you,
sorry, that wasn't a time.
I bounced you around.
Me trying to like grab my thoughts.
It happens. That's why we have TVs going when you and I are doing homework.
Exactly.
No, it is true.
I need some music.
I know, right? We were talking about the differences of the generations and socially, and then
thank you. As I was growing up, and so 2016, I knew like very little about politics. I was actually like, I'm not even British. I was for Brexit. Like,
Right.
basically, throw it all away, let the world burn. Let's
Right.
get someone who like, a business person, doesn't know anything about actual politics,
Right.
Was on The Apprentice, or think
Right.
Brexit, getting out of one of the largest like economic market areas in the world. It's like, yeah, why not? Just let it all burn. Let's reset, see what happens.
Right.
Now, as I've grown, especially about 2020, I think is when I really started doing a lot of deep dive research into politics, all that fun stuff. And that's when like all these thoughts like about philosophy and such started coming around and like solidifying, being able to fight other positions, like all that fun stuff. That's really what put
And when
me
you
on,
drill
like,
down,
opposite.
where do you go?
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Because I went very far in the opposite direction after that. So 2020, I was the like person you were just talking about, like, woke, all this the bullshit. And it's like, okay, maybe I've gotten a little bit too far. As I'm getting older and older, I'm finally settling in a position. And it's very important, like in life growth, you should look at the person you were 5 years ago and be like, I'm better than that person now.
Every
And
5 to 10 years, we change. There's no doubt about it. You're not the same person.
Exactly.
And
so like being able to do that, like who knows what the next 5 years is going to be. So
and I've said this often. Each one of my children, well, like Zach and Jake were, but Zach and Jake and then Sydney, they were raised by two different parents. Because that was 9 years, 10 years. Well, with Zach, it was probably 10 years. So I'm a different person in 10 years. You've gone through a lot of life experiences, a little edgier, a little softer. For me, it was softer. I was edgy early. I mean, it was, I got thrown into business early and there was no timing. It was just like go.
Cutthroat environment too.
Oh
so
my
like,
gosh.
yeah.
We had competitors. I mean, that was just, my life's been nothing but people, trying to put me out of business. So.
Yeah.
Good luck, cowboy. Anyway, sorry. That's for a couple of them.
Just send this video to them. Post on
they
Twitter.
don't
There
have
you
to.
go.
No, listen, haters will watch every minute of it. The people that are looking for information, they don't watch this whole thing. The haters looking for anything in there. So I like to make them wait. Like I'll say stuff at the end about you. If you're not watching every one, I'm talking about you almost every episode. Or maybe I'm not.
There you go.
I love it. I like not having rage in my life. And I lived, and that's why I loved having Mel over last week. He's such a calm creature. You're a big guy, and you're a calm soul, and I'm not. And so I like being around people like that. Robbie, you know, he shifted. We're going to have Robbie and Dee on here one day, a couple that just is good people, just gold. So when you get with, so you're now a senior where you are, right? So like 5 years in, you're middle management, upper middle.
So
for your department
on my team. I work on a team of 3, so there's like no one lower than me technically. But like if you look at the hierarchy, I'm like 6 positions away from the president of the university. So take that as you will.
Do you do
position a year? Like I could get there.
is there constant more learning for you?
Oh, every day.
Because
oh my goodness,
y'all change. IT changes so daggone
quick.
fast.
Yeah, and especially with AI nowadays, it's crazy. So
you're not scared about AI?
No, not at all.
Okay,
so I am a member of the Operational Excellence Committee of the UNF AI Council. So
operational expert,
Operational Excellence
sorry.
Committee. So it's a subcommittee of the council. I don't actually sit on the UNF AI Council, but we are trying to further the use of AI in the University of North Florida, making sure like people are aware, like, hey, you probably have, or not probably, I think every staff member has access to Microsoft Copilot. Not like the full suite that is an additional license, but like go to Copilot, start using it. Go to ChatGPT. Don't put UNF data in it, but go to ChatGPT and like use it. See what you can do. It's awesome.
I asked it one time if you were the devil,
how
would you take over the world? I didn't do that. I'm too scared of the answer. What are you talking about? I would never. I don't even go on it, and it's going to leave me behind.
It is. I believe
it's moving so fast.
There was a study. Well, here's a fun one for you. There's a study. I think now this was about 6 months ago, and it's probably changed again since then. But it was like AI is getting dumber. because almost all the content on the internet it's training on is AI generated content. So it's training on stuff that it spit out, and if it ever gets something wrong, it's training to learn that and it's getting wrong again.
So it's getting dumber?
Yeah. Now, right now, especially with like DeepSeek coming out, where it's like what needed a ton of efficiency to like and power to run, you could run with like a consumer graphics card.
I don't even know what this is.
So DeepSeek is a AI model that just came out from, I don't remember the company name, but it was a Chinese company.
I'm building a bunker. I'm building a bunker, damn it.
And it was the idea was that like NVIDIA and like OpenAI takes hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in order to develop these AI models, make them better, train them, all that fun stuff. And they did it for like a few million. And it runs so efficiently that you can run it on a basic, like a consumer level computer, and you'd get great answers. Like it'll be extremely quick.
So it's not even on the internet.
Correct.
So you can like sit there on your computer. Oh, that's scary. How could I assassinate?
I think it does need an internet connection.
Okay. Because I mean, all of a sudden you could ask it to come up with a perfect plan to assassinate some kind of congressman or some kind of, YouTube, don't hit me for this. I'm not saying to. I'm just saying, I always think the worst case scenario. Okay, but how about this? Since
you gotta remember, it has to have been trained on that. So unless there's like
what about the
stuff,
self-teaching AIs?
So there's generative AI, but it hallucinates.
Right. And all of a sudden it hallucinates and it doesn't like me.
Hallucinate means it's a wrong answer.
Or okay,
so
well, then don't use that word because Dave's half bionic. I'll punch him.
We need to get AI like installed in your leg, so like every time you walk by, you just kick it.
Oh my gosh, man! I look at him sometimes. Look at me, Dave. I want to see if they turn red.
You need the Neuralink for like your legs.
No,
so, like,
we're done.
Just straight into your brain.
God, no. I mean, what about these Neuralinks? And I mean, Bubba, there is coming a time. All I'm saying is there is more room for people to abuse it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
but,
so
like,
that's scary.
There was
for a dude, for an old guy.
There's room to abuse fire. Like you're not old enough to be scared of fire, are you?
Yeah, but you can't sit in your room and set fire to my house 1,000 miles away. You can break into my robot and all of a sudden he's choking me.
Throw a Molotov cocktail through your window and run.
Yeah, but you'd have to be there. You're actually I
can be on the road.
Okay, I could be in Alaska. I could be in Dubai. And if I had the ability, I could break in, start your computer, start your robot that's supposed to be sweeping, and beat the hell out of you with a mop. Tell me there's not going to be young men doing that.
I mean, absolutely. Anything that's rife for abuse will be abused.
That's what I'm afraid of. Because this one, is very it's very private. You don't know if that
not really private.
Well, I mean, you don't know if that robot's beating the snot out of me with a mop or not because it's in my house.
But also, like, you got to remember, there's all sorts of limitations. There's,
I know,
like, the robot that's like sweeping. It can't probably raise its arm like that because it, never was meant to. So it's not going to beat you to death.
Until the mother, hang on, stay with me, Brandon. Until the mother thing does this little eye and it reprograms that thing and it reset. Then it goes back in for tune-up and it resets the bolts. Dude,
iRobot. iRobot.
Yeah, I watched Star Trek. I mean, the what was it? Borg.
Oh yeah, the Borg.
The Borg.
You will be assimilated.
Yes, assimilation.
Resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile.
Resistance are talking foreign to me.
Dude, these guys, they walk. Borg was this square ship, and you would fly in, and what they would do is they would capture you. That's why I watch you very close. Right. You have a bionic leg, so I don't know yet. You may have already been snatched.
They would take you and like make you part of a hive mind. So like,
and you would have the eye and
your processing ability would be used to further the collective. Can you mute my mic? I want to adjust real quick. I'm gonna make a lot of noise.
Let me ask you a question, Brandon. You guys talk about Star Trek.
Thank you.
Do you like Star Wars?
I liked early Star Wars.
He's the same kind of me.
Because I'll talk about Star Wars with him. He's like,
I am a huge, especially like in my more recent years, huge movie critic. So like, I watched the original Star Wars, loved them. They're amazing movies. I watched
the first three.
Yeah,
77.
A New Hope.
Yeah. Well, the fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Exactly. The prequels, I remember going to the theater to see the prequels and like being bored out of my mind.
You're
in
talking about
Attack
like
of the
Revenge of
Clones.
the Sith.
Yeah,
and I
Revenge
didn't
of
like
the Sith was
those
good.
three.
Attack of the Clones was terrible.
Yeah.
But like those movies are still like they're fun in their own way, but like very okay. Like writing's meh. The sequel trilogy is absolutely god awful, like unbelievably terrible.
You Lord of the Rings guy?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like I'm not so deep that I've like read the Silmarillion or anything,
Yeah.
but like the extended edition of Lord of the Rings is probably my second favorite like movie of all time.
And the Hobbits, is that Lord of the
Hobbits,
Rings?
yeah, Hobbit's Lord of the Rings.
get
But
lost.
it's like the prequel series.
Yeah.
Then the movies did not do a good job of adapting. So
And what was the other one with all the witchcraft and the guy?
Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? No, Harry Potter was one thing that like I started getting into and
Yeah.
just never could. So as a kid, when the books were coming out, I got to the fourth book, and I remember like in the middle of the fourth book, The Goblet of Fire, like
And you were done.
I'm done. And I just never picked it back
Wow.
up. Movies came out. I was like, oh yeah, Philosopher's Stone, great. Chamber of Secrets, awesome. Prince of Azkaban, amazing.
And then
Goblet
it
of
went
Fire.
downhill.
My sons are big into it. I was never big.
Now you said Lord of the Rings is your second.
Yeah.
What's your first?
Matrix.
Oh
The
yes.
Matrix is,
Now
like, this
we're on the
amazing
same.
movie. Second and third movie, okay, not great, but like absolutely watchable. The scenes with the architect are some of my favorite scenes of all like media.
Do you
And
buy
then-
into the Matrix?
What do you mean?
I mean, like in reality,
like the red pill, like you're
Yeah.
part of the absolutely
the red.
not.
Well, not okay. Not like literally you come out of, but I mean like philosophically,
No.
the red pill, the blue pill. Like
No.
you see things in a different light.
No, not at all.
So you don't. I mean, have you ever seen the videos where they show all the news anchors talking and they're all saying the same thing at the same time and everything?
I mean, so that is, I know exactly what video you're talking about, but like every single one of those news organizations was owned by the same parent company,
right?
and
Because there's
we're
only
pushing
two,
a narrative.
and that's sort of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's only 2 to 3, and I mean, you get into what is it, BlackRock? I mean, they know
Yeah.
they own everything.
Yeah,
That's the real boys to be looking at, and we're sitting here
the
staring
man
at
behind the man.
the man behind the
all the way
man.
back to the beginning.
Dave and I were talking about. I found my favorite book when I was a young person, because young isn't. It's where you learn to think, cognitive thinking. The Emperor's Clothes. It's a little kid's book.
Oh, the one where like he wears like nothing, and like the kid calls him
because
out. Yeah,
because everybody else, they don't want to look stupid, so they're like, oh, okay, yeah, he has clothes, and this guy's acting like he's sewing the most fine clothes, and what, you can't see it? Well, then you must not have the keen eye, and so the whole town, believes this man, the emperor, has clothes, and he puts on these clothes. He thinks he's naked, and he walks down the street to show everybody, and everybody's like, oh, what a beautiful outfit, and the kid's going, you have no clothes on, and it's just the idea of getting out of the.
Why a lot of like fantasies treat the god of wisdom as a child. It's like having that like unbiased curiosity about the world.
I want to keep it. Have you found a way to keep it, or do you?
No,
do you
not at all.
Is it even something you think about? Because like I go out throughout my day trying to find things to do that are fun and out of the norm.
No, like if I come across something that's fun, I will, ADHD hyper focus on it, burn myself out in like a month, and be like, okay, I'll never touch it again.
And see, that's why I don't know if I'm ADHD, because I have staying power but so do you in business. But I have staying power in things that I don't get. I don't think it's hyper focused. Dave, you can shred me if I'm wrong.
No.
I mean, I can
Sitting
get
here thinking
hyper
as you're
focused.
talking.
Well, when a topic comes up, like buying a building, well, I get hyper focused in finding the building and negotiating
That you did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm relentless about
Yeah.
buying a car. I will start doing homework a year before I know I'm gonna buy the car.
I mean, there was literally when we was looking for a building, he could have told you every
I knew
building that was available in the city of Jacksonville.
I know every building. I know every warehouse that people have. I know everything.
Yep.
So, and it's just because I traveled so much. I talked to so many of them.
I'd be like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm driving around the circle again."
Yeah.
And he'd be going around 295.
295,
Goodness.
23, trying to find but I mean, that's sort of what it takes in any business or any life. Okay, so you're,
Especially if you're cutting edge and like trying to like grow, make as much money as you possibly can. Yeah, of course.
and
you're gonna
mommy,
do that.
daddy didn't give you any money.
Yeah.
There's no money behind me. Nobody passed away and left money for me to go float on. And I mean, this is, custodial built from the Phillips Highway
Yeah.
ground up. You know,
no.
and I'm not. Yeah, man, I'm not going back. You know, I don't have to be. See, for me, success is not being the biggest, the best. Although I keep pushing, I want to keep growing and expanding, and in whatever capacity that is. But I just want to do the very best I can in whatever is in front of me. When you and I are sitting, I want to make sure I'm a good interviewer. I want to make sure I pull out what you want to talk about. I want to make sure they're entertained, you know, and at the same time be authentically raw. And there's a balance to that. It's funny how I get home from this and I sleep very well.
Nice.
I sleep longer on Mondays than I do any other day because my brain's running, you know, and it's fun. This is a fun little exercise for me.
I'll guarantee you his brain started running about this podcast around noon today. At least.
Well, Don Marie will tell you Mondays is, I mean, Mr. Beast was talking about it. I'm not like enthralled with Mr. Beast.
It sounds like it.
Okay, and I'll tell you why. What I enjoy about people is breaking them apart and realizing what made them. How did he get where he got? And so at 11, this guy was starting on. He's 24 now. So at 11, and he said from 11 to
Mr.
13.
Beast is only 24 years old.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh
Right?
my God.
It might even be 23.
Wow.
It's 23. Yeah, I know. And he's not beautiful. He doesn't speak well. He you know, and he says that. He says some people get it very much quicker, but he had a group of 3 to 5 guys that were passionate about the same stuff, and that's all they did. They got hype. And he mentioned ADHD. You start paying attention to the really successful people, and they get hyper vigilant about topics and whatever their interests are.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to dive into a business or a industry. Speaking of businesses and industries and fun, really, you love comics. Am I right?
Yeah. Comic.
So what's your genre that you just...
I love fantasy.
Fantasy.
Fantasy and anime. So.
Okay, so anime, help me with the difference.
Anime is Japanese comics, basically.
Okay, my sons love anime.
Comics, like I like the Marvel movies, like
Right.
the Marvel movies pre oh my God, Infinity War. Like I like Infinity War, but like everything Disney does nowadays is terrible.
How do you... Infinity War, when was that? Do you know the years?
God, 2014.
So you're like, do you collect books and everything?
Not, I have some things I collect. I have like the entire series so far of Game of Thrones. I have all of Dune.
In cartoon form?
No, sorry, those are actual books.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
novels.
Okay.
When it comes to comics, no, I don't do anything like that.
Okay.
I have like some cards and like there's a game called Weiss Schwartz I got from my favorite anime.
Dave. So explain this to me.
I might need Brandon here.
That's okay.
All right, so click on the file.
Yeah, just open up the folder, double click the picture, and it should open up here.
That's what I'm saying. I clicked on it.
Yeah, double click. You got that. We believe in you, Dave. I saw your face flash. So that means it opened something on that monitor. Do you want me to get up and look?
Yeah, go take a look.
Yeah, because it's not pulling up your pictures.
Well, you got to go Okay. I'll let him show you.
Run from camera like a professional.
Oh, it's all good.
Oh, you closed the how'd you close the folder?
He likes to hit the X.
Yeah, don't hit the X.
Okay.
No X's. And then you hit the camera.
And you got to drag that up. Okay.
All right, so you haven't
Yep.
changed the scene yet, so left and right.
Left and right. Yep.
So, Dave, do you have us on the bottom left?
I'm going to right now.
Okay, cool.
All right,
So did you design this?
This is not from. This is from a game. This is from Genshin Impact. This is a cosplay that I made entirely by hand.
Okay, wait. You said cosplay?
Cosplay, COSPLAY, costume play.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I think that's what it stands for. But yeah, so this is
You made that?
100%. Yep. So MegaCon 2025 just happened. It was a convention down in Orlando, Florida. It is, if you like anything nerd stuff, so anything nerd related that we talked about today, it's
Right.
there. I saw people dressed as like Picard from Star Trek.
They'll go as like
There's
the people from Back to the Future to
Stormtroopers.
everything.
The best one that I saw, I wish I had a better picture to show here, is, do you know Mechagodzilla? Godzilla? Do you know Godzilla?
Yeah, I mean, I know Godzilla.
So
yeah.
there's a Mecha Godzilla, which is a giant robot version of Godzilla. They came as that, stood about 8 foot tall, laser lights, like LED, like red LEDs. Their mouth would open and it would like roar. It was unbelievable.
Can I go in just dressed normal?
Yeah, absolutely. We
we're going
went
to that,
for
Dave.
both Friday and Saturday, and I wore this both days. And even today, my shoulders are killing me because you can't see it in this picture. And I'm pointing like the camera can see me.
That's okay.
But there's 2 plates on the side, 3D printed. So the mask is full resin 3D print, and a lot of the baubles are full resin 3D print. My friend has a 3D printer, and I paid him $140 to print like all the baubles. But there's 2 big ass like star cross plates on the side, and it's not heavy, but wearing it for 6-8 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So how did you design that? Is that from a show?
So yeah, from Genshin Impact, it's a character that's not released yet. Piero, the Jester. He is like the director of what we believe is the villainous organization in the game. So I went as him. There's actually a video on YouTube. I don't have it pulled up, but I have the channel name if you want to look for it, Dave, later.
I'll post it in the comments too.
We go to the Genshin Impact cosplay meetup. There's probably hundreds of people there, like dressed as characters from the game, and it's not a professional photo shoot,
Right.
but it's like a photo shoot where like one of the I guess he's a guest of the convention is like there to take pictures of like everyone in cosplay.
Yeah.
Like one of the nations in the game, like all the characters that are there to get their picture taken, and all you hear from the right is, "Oh my God, is that Piero? It's Piero!" And you hear like a gasp of people. I was like, this costume took probably about somewhere between 50 and 60 hours, and about $1,000.
Wow.
So
I mean, you're into this.
yeah. Well, this is my first cosplay. I cosplayed I went to the MegaCon in 2019 to go. The voice cast of a show called Ruby was there, and I got like all my comics of them signed. So I do own the manga. I own 5 Ruby manga.
Okay.
Ruby being RWBY.
So your mom could go as Elvira.
yeah.
I've always said with her black hair and everything.
I mean, she's done that for Halloween. But yeah, so we get there.
Flip to the next day.
Go to the next one, Dave, because I think the next one is me and DJ Qualls.
Am I just arrow left, right?
Right arrow.
It's not going.
You got to go
click
up.
into here. Sorry,
You got to go up under the
if you
screen.
clicked into OBS, you've unfocused that window.
Okay.
So click it, and then right arrow. There we go. So this is me and DJ Qualls. DJ Qualls is from he's an actor from a bunch of stuff. I have his autograph. But I know him from a movie called The Core. The Core is a awful sci-fi movie, but it's so fun to watch.
It's one of those that everybody.
It's like so bad it's good. I have he plays a hacker called the Rat, and there's a scene where he's like getting not arrested, but he thinks he's getting arrested. He takes someone's phone and like takes a piece of gum and like blows into it and like hits some buttons and he hands it back. It's like, you now have long distance forever. What? And it's like it's what you believe hacking is. But like
then I'm gonna watch it.
It's unbelievably awful like writing style, but God, is it so entertaining to watch. I can talk about the movie forever. But I had him sign the photo with "This photograph now has long distance forever," and
that is
like,
awesome.
I walked up to him. It didn't seem like he was having a good time because I don't know if he had just got there or like no one was in line, but I was the only person in line for him. And like he walked away and he walked back like as I was walking in line. You can tell he's probably not having a great day.
Right.
After I said it, he's like, "Oh my God, that's awesome." We take the selfie and he's like, "By the way, you look amazing." My mask in this image is literally falling off my face because I've been wearing it for so long and I'm sweating.
So what do they have like? Do you have like meetings? And,
So depending on how popular the thing is, like there's Marvel meetings. There's
guys talking
Star
about
Wars.
the shows.
It's a photo shoot.
Oh, I
so
got
like
you.
while
Okay.
you're there, you're whatever the word is, conglomerating with all the people that are there, just having fun, talking about things. So
they sell stuff there, I'm sure. I mean,
I've spent so much money. So
like
the
all
costume,
your heroes
Yeah.
sell their gear and
exactly.
everything.
Yeah. The costume was $1,000, and I probably dropped another $1,000 at MegaCon.
And then parties, I imagine, were a blast.
So I didn't go to any because, like, number one, I was exhausted. Number two, I can't drink. So
Right. Yeah, neither can I.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't work for me.
I medically can't.
Yeah.
Can you not medically either? Or I know
Well, I
you're.
tend to break out in handcuffs. So yeah, I would say medically I cannot
That
drink.
makes sense. Yeah.
I am very happy where I am. Give me my water.
Yeah,
and
so
Sprite.
this is a picture of all the other they're called in the game. They're called harbingers. So this is me and like all the other characters.
Hang on, stay right there, Dave. Who's the guy in the green? Okay. So do they each have powers?
Yeah, like
Your outfit really stands out.
yeah, it does. So
I mean, you pimped out
Like-
in that thing.
again, the reason that cost $1,000 to make is because I had to buy. That was my first cosplay that I made, so I had to buy everything.
You sewed it everything?
I bought a sewing machine for $250. That was like a quarter of the cosplay.
That is awesome,
I
Brandon.
bought the pattern for the cloak was a $15 thing off of Etsy, and you had to. It didn't come as like a sewing pattern. You had to print out the pattern, tape it all together, make sure everything lined up, cut it out, then cut out the fat. God, that's why it took my 60 hours to
You
make.
didn't try to do it at your mother's house, did you?
No, God, no.
Oh, I mean, honey, if you'll, honey,
Well, number one, she can't. I think she'll admit freely that she can't.
she runs a good business.
She runs an amazing
okay.
business. There's two things she can't do: sew or bake.
You're getting punched.
Oh well, she will freely admit to this. I'll tell this story. Love you, Mom. There was a year where we all tried to make cookies, and we were like taking the flour, rolling out the dough, like mixing everything. And she gets so unbelievably fed up that she like throws her like oven mitts down. Like, I'm going to the goddamn store and picking up some premium. She runs to the store, and me and my brother are there like trying to finish everything. And we get like everything into the oven, comes out like
Oh my
as she gets
gosh.
back. The cookies were okay,
Right.
and they were burned to hell and back. But she was like, "Okay, I had the pre-made cookies. Let's just make those."
She cooks good though.
Oh, she's an
So,
amazing
she
cook.
has
She
an-
just can't bake.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Why is baking different than cooking?
I don't know. I don't do either.
Where do you mental health is important. Is physical health? Do you think of that? Because you've lost a lot of weight.
So as of May this year, I've lost 50 pounds. May last year, I've started on my like weight loss journey. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's 50 you're keeping off. That's not just
Hopefully, yeah.
those people. Well, I mean, you didn't drop it like dynamite
it-
fast. It's been a nice
Yeah, it
steady.
took me like
It was
changing
basically when you
habits.
started coming around here, when
Yeah,
you started
almost
losing
exactly,
weight.
Yeah, because my mom
Yep.
started her business in February.
Yeah.
So like shortly after that, I wish I could tell you what
Yeah.
happened,
No.
why I had motivation, why I started this. I was like, I'm gonna start running. Basically, Forrest
you
Gump
running
style.
everything.
I do 2 miles a day. So here's a story. I had a treadmill that was like 10 years old, lightly used. And I started on that. It was a tread desk that my mom got me. It was like this, it was basically a full desk that had a treadmill underneath.
I've seen those.
And like you have your computer on you because I need ADHD. I need something to keep me. I couldn't just like run with music. I need something like in front of me. So that tread desk went up to 4 miles an hour, and that was the max. So I would max out, and I would do like 30 minutes on that every day, so about 2 miles. Well, it finally broke. The motor like shot out. I got a new treadmill. I put that thing on to 4 miles an hour, and remember, the motor on my last one broke out. So it was
you found out what
obviously
4 is really about?
4 is way higher than what I was running. I got on there. I was like, I thank God I live on the first floor because my neighbors would have hated me.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, so like I do about a mile, 1.75. I'm at 3.7 miles per hour, and I do 30. I always do 30 minutes. So do that, and then I bought some adjustable weights to do like some light exercises, and I've been keeping on that. It started
Eating habits
yeah,
changing much?
completely. So Jason, my boss's boss, I was talking about, he introduced me to this calorie counting app, and when you start counting calories, if you're like a big guy like me, you have no idea how much
No
you're
idea.
actually eating,
I had
especially
no
if you
idea.
drink soda. I didn't drink soda at the time, but like,
136%, one 12-ounce can,
Yeah.
and you're done.
yeah, it's crazy.
And I was drinking 2-liter bottles
Yeah.
plus beer and alcohol and then breads and pastas. And I was eating. Oh, I would go and get I was 300 pounds. I would go and get a Publix, was it 24?
20-piece chicken.
20-piece chicken. And then I would bake it
do
in.
the entire thing. Yeah.
No, then I'd put hot sauce on it because I wanted the hottest hot sauce, and then I'd bake it to let it bake in. Then I would ranch, just tearing it up.
Douse it and everything.
And then I would buy 2 of them, one to
Oh,
eat then.
no.
I'd
And
peel
one
the
for later at
rest, and
night.
I would just throughout the next day or two, I'd wear that out. A gallon of ice cream wouldn't last me 2.5 days. I would just tear it up. And now I have a lot of fun not letting me eat and not like went to Arby's today, and I didn't get drinks. I didn't get the fries. I got the sandwich. I only eat half I take the top of the bread off, no condiments, and it's freaking delicious. It's still not great eating,
No, it's Arby's. Like, come on.
but it is better than what I was.
Yeah,
and
no, absolutely.
that's what I try to do. And I think that's where we fail. We look for perfection or nothing, and you're never going to get there.
Well, one of the biggest things,
I can't.
anyone like out there on a weight loss journey, muscle is built in the gym. Calories are like weight is lost in the kitchen. Like that is so important to know. You can work out every day of the week, like six miles, whatever. If you then eat 4,000 calories, you're putting on weight. Like there's nothing you can do about that.
No.
So
It's what you put in. And when I started learning how to shrink my stomach, regardless of what I ate, that's when it started benefiting me a lot. Flip to the next one, Dave.
oh yeah. So this.
Did you?
That so at this point, because this is day 2, anyone who took a picture with me, I tried to get a picture of with them as well.
Yeah.
So this is another one of the harbingers. Flip to next.
How many people were there
At the meetup or at the convention?
at the MegaCon?
I want to say like 200,000 people.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
it's
insane.
huge.
This guy, I'm excited to meet him next year because that's like he started his Dottore cosplay. So he's going to be like finishing that up, and I want to go back and next year like arrive at the meetup on time because I was late and like try to get like a good posing shot with all the other harbingers.
Hey, maybe we could do a remote there. That'd be fun.
Oh, set up a podcast.
Sit
there?
down and chit
Oh
chat
yeah,
with them.
absolutely. There are people taking videos. There are
Really?
people doing everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that next year.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
You can go as a guest, maybe like apply to be a guest and actually have a panel with like an audience and do like a live all about the grind podcast.
You'd have people all day long that would want to sit down with you.
Absolutely.
Exactly,
Talk about
yeah.
their story and then how they, because I guarantee a lot of them have a business in it, have made a living out of it.
Oh yeah.
And then the social media side, the app side, and all, there's a whole side of that.
One of the things we stopped by was a social media, like how to grow your
Yep.
platform podcast. Yep.
Podcasts, listen, people want podcasts.
Oh
And
yeah.
I-
Like
you know,
people love like
I didn't realize it. I had no idea. This was just something that has been on me. I don't know where it came from. I just wanted to reach out and touch people. And in reality, doing that helps me more than
more than, yeah.
I have never helped somebody that I haven't been helped more than I helped them. Never. I say no. I can't think of any. And I that helps me in sobriety too, with a bunch of new knucklehead drunk people that are trying to get sober. Because what it does is it reminds you, like you said, you say the 3 things again. It's on my other side. You learn, you learn one. You
see one, do one,
see
teach
one,
one.
do one, teach one, and that's really AA. I mean, that's what they did to me. They walked me through. Hey, knucklehead, here's what's wrong with you. You're spiritually dead. It's not alcohol. Alcohol's but a symptom.
Yeah.
Because and then I didn't drink really hard until I didn't really start drinking hard until my early 30s. I mean, I would have a beer and what have you, but I didn't realize even without the alcohol, I was spiritually dead. Whatever is spiritual. And when I say spiritual, I'm not talking about Baptist or
Yeah, not like
religion.
religion, yeah.
Just spiritual. You know, whatever that higher power is that makes that I call upon to help guide me in my day. You know. Some people have groups. I don't care what you have. You know, I believe if you're searching, you're going to find what you're looking for. So, do you have spiritual beliefs? Yeah. So atheist or
I went to a Christian high school, a Baptist high school, and went there from
That can
6th to
ruin
12th
you.
grade. Yeah. It
Oh
did.
yeah. I went to.
Speaking of quotes, there was one. So the genius quote I learned in school. There was one quote that it felt like it destroyed like my confidence, especially because like probably undiagnosed ADHD.
Right.
Was anything you think is done in the eyes of God. It's basically saying if you think something bad, you've practically done it in like heaven. It's like, I have terrible thoughts all the time. Are you saying like I'm going to be punished for all this shit? It's like, it's not me doing it. It's my dumbass brain like not being able to focus on anything. So yeah, that like my confidence at high school was destroyed. Like I felt terrible.
You know what somebody taught me? Because I was taught the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught you had to give lovingly. Well, I didn't want to give my money to the church. I was a kid. I'm like, man, I could buy gum with this. And no, you have to. And if you give, but you don't give lovingly, well, then it doesn't count. Well, then why am I giving anyway?
Right,
Let me just keep it because I'm not going to give lovingly.
No,
and as I got older, I got with some men that were mentors of mine, and they said, I don't care how you feel. I don't care what you believe. Will you just do? And the action of, for me, leads to the emotions. And that was a pretty cool journey for me because I always thought the emotions were there and then the actions come. But, you know.
So it's funny. The way I got brought out of that funk was another quote that was completely opposite of what you're saying. It is the sign of an enlightened mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it.
I like that.
So that like, it literally flipped my entire worldview. Like literally that hearing that quote is what began me down my losing my faith journey.
Yeah.
So no, if you ask me like in my 2020 days, I was like militant atheist, like all religions bad. And nowadays I'm like, even like as humans, we're really good at breaking stuff down without realizing what made it good and re-adding that. Like when it comes down to it, religion is really good about like giving you a community, like giving you people to talk to you, even if it's like
giving you parameters,
it's fake, but like believing people care about you. That's so important.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, like recognizing that is like enough for me without needing the heavy guilt aspect of religion.
Yeah, I understand that. Is that more prevalent at your age group, you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's not as many people have ever even gone to church, right? I mean, don't even know the biblical stories. I mean, Dave and I, it's funny, but we would play, not bingo. Come on, Dave. Trivia, thank you. And I always nailed all the Bible stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
we would watch Jeopardy when I was growing up,
Yeah.
and like if there was ever a Bible section, I would get all
of it.
every question in the category.
Yeah, he got the music and everything. And then we'd tag team.
Bible was there, I'd be like, Brett.
And I'm telling you, 7 out of 10, I was right. 8 out of 10. So I was raised in a staunch independent Baptist. I don't know that God. It didn't work. It didn't make sense to me. And yet I followed it. That's why with my children, I taught them to have an understanding and a belief in a higher power of their understanding. And if it led to something, it led to something. I believe that if my God was big enough, he didn't need me to dissect it for him. I'm human.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot.
exactly.
I'm looking at your day in prison. I drink too much. I mean, what? And that's what I did with my children is I hid no faults. I am real, I'm raw, and I'm wrong. Here's where I'm good. Here's where I suck.
No, careful, because that's where you get like the sitcom, the dad is always the dumb, stupid idiot who can't do anything right kind of stuff. It's like, maybe that's not good.
But you'll know something?
Children.
I learned something. Here's the journey was in telling them, like when I went into rehab, I wasn't going to rehab to get sober. I was looking at a year and a day in prison. My attorney called me and said, you need to get into rehab. I'm like, what? It's just
Like
another.
literally that day.
That day I dove in. Oh, I was an idiot. I didn't even know what I was walking into. At that time, I had Xanax. I walked into a rehab holding Xanax. See, you're laughing. I don't know.
You had no idea.
I think I'm going to hand it to them, and they're going to doll it out to me as I'm prescribed 2 a day. So I'm like, I'll make it through this easy. And I panicked when they took my Xanax and we're not getting this.
You're not getting it back.
And you'll know something. There was a young lady there that would sit up with me at 2:00 in the morning. I don't know her name. I don't know anything about her, but she would sit up there at 2:00 in the morning. Would taught me to focus on a point and breathe. She taught me to go through
meditation.
Yeah, I knew not, dude, I'm a guy. We didn't talk about panic attacks. No man has them. There is no fear. That alpha male bullshit. And this woman, I mean, I was in fear for my life. I mean, I didn't know what the hell was going on with me. And this wasn't me, but it was.
Yeah.
So what I learned over time, no, I didn't learn jack shit. What was taught to me over time was that my weakness is my strength. Being able to shine a light going, I suck at this, because then I'm able to put people around me that can fill in the gaps. And I think that's where a lot of business people, especially small business people, corporate America, you can hide so easy as an upper management. And it's really cool when you have those that have been impressionable upon you, how to pass that voice along to the next generation. Because one day he's going to retire and y'all keep moving up, or you may move on to another, but you're going to continue to grow.
Yep.
That's what we do. You know, I mean, I don't know many of us that come on this page. You didn't come from Miss Becky and not have any grind in you.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Any major failures that really helped grow you, or, and I'm not trying to get into like dark secrets or anything.
Yeah, no, the one that like the being overconfident and passing up the union position like really was the turning point
What did
for
it
like
teach
everything.
you? I mean, what?
Like I'm not as good as I think I am.
Don't be too cocky.
Yeah.
Don't ever take anything for granted.
Taking for granted, yeah. Like that. I worked at Walmart for I want to say it was 6 months as a overnight shelf stalker, and that was unbelievably terrible. Like the job wasn't bad.
You were dead inside, weren't you?
I was a big guy. They always put me on like the baking aisles, and I was like, it's hot, it's Florida, it's like 80 degrees inside the store, and now I have to move a literal ton of flour. This is awful.
Yeah.
That wasn't too bad. The managers, speaking of middle managers, the managers were terrible. Like I had one manager like come to me, say something like I did something wrong. I was like, oh, well, here's an explanation, not an excuse. Here's why I did it. He turned around in my face and walked away from me. It's like, that's unacceptable. Like, am I a dumb kid? Yeah. Was that right? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Come on. You're supposed to be a boss. You're supposed to be like the leader of the group.
You set the tone. You do. And I can walk into stores, whether they be big or small, and you can tell a lot about the management by the people that are there, because they hire them, they train them.
Yep.
They come in a bad mood. The people, I've done it in here. I come in a little, getting a little argument with mama. Let me bring it in this store. All of a sudden, I'm nipping at him, and then his attitude shifts, and the attitude towards the customer shifts. And Miss Becky's attitude never shifts. She has.
She's always awesome. Yeah.
She has an uncanny ability to weather. Is that accurate? I mean,
100%.
just period.
Yeah. Just
Weather.
like, you have no idea. Yes.
No, I don't, and I do. I mean, there's similarities to us, but we are different as well, and I have fun with it. But the relentlessness of her in a healthy way, I could see where it could get unhealthy.
It can get unhealthy. Yeah.
So can mine, because I think you'd say I'm relentless.
Very much so.
Yeah, I mean, when I was drinking, I was relentless, baby. I mean, we gonna drink.
Oh,
Dave's
yeah.
like, let's go home. Nah, let's get to know the manager. We'll stay later.
Something you said, like, always trust your gut. And it's like, that's not always the best thing, because I bet your gut is like, I can handle one more drink.
Oh, and it was funny
that's
because
a
I'd be
very
like,
valid point.
I'd be like, let's go home, and he'd giggle as he drove by my house.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh,
That's
no.
true. I would go, yeah. We'd go right by the house. No, that's true.
I'd be like, guess we're going out.
Oh, okay. So that point of that story wasn't he was already drunk.
We would start at about 4 o'clock playing darts at one bar. When darts were over, we'd go to another bar, watch sports till about 11. Then at 11, it was either go home or end up at another bar till 2:30.
Jeez.
And they got raunchier as we got later.
And about 90% of the time, it was end up at the other bar until about 2:30.
Pretend you're stealing a bike and, get the crap beat out of you.
Yeah. I did. Dave fits, right? You fit in the bars I went into. Back then, plaid shorts were in. Here I am.
He'd walk in and got me like, nice shorts.
I had a biker walk out of this 6'4". Me and the bouncer got into it.
No.
Well, he got to know me, and this is where I struggle with relationships, because he got to know me. When people get to know you, they get you start getting comfortable. When they get comfortable, you find out who they really are, and I don't really like them. And then all of a sudden he still thinks I'm your friend, and we're never really friends. You're just a bouncer, dude, at a bar, so I was pretty big back then.
He was a good dude, though.
Yeah, so, to you. he and I about locked up twice. I remember once we both walked straight towards each other.
And this is a dude that was 6'7", 330-pound offensive lineman for Nebraska.
I didn't give a damn. And we were going to go, son. You going to keep talking? Listen, you can throw me all over. That ear's coming with me. Anyways, I don't miss those days whatsoever. I look back. See, for me, I never drank at the house. And
That's
so
good.
No, because I'm in a car.
Well, okay, that's not good.
Now-
but like not drinking at home is its own like thing.
I thought, I was doing good not being around my kids, but I also traveled for 25 years and I
So you
drank, and it
weren't
was in
there.
my
Yeah.
head and I was always the guy that got everybody home. I was the safe driver, and I was within 1.5 miles of our house, and it was always a back road, and we weren't on the major,
goodness.
all
Yeah.
this logic, and it was absolute stupidity. All of a sudden you get a phone call the next day and I've T-boned your mom's car and she's dead. I'm
It's
not
a
an-
mile from the house. We're on the back road, but he's driving with his knee down the dirt road with the headlights off.
Goodness.
I would turn the headlights off, and I wanted it to be the harder the better. And I called for
why?
it. I manifested it. I manifested my own. I mean, I wanted that guy. We'd be sitting at a bar. I mean, in the back corner, and the door would open, and I knew that guy was coming to me. And sure enough, and all of a sudden we'd lock up, and we. I mean, to me it was fun back then. It didn't even register, It just. But I was never somebody who started stuff, but I was really good at getting people to start it.
Oh no! So you did start it. You were the man behind
For
the man.
a lot of, I mean, I ate that one night. I wasn't even talking to that guy.
No.
I was just sitting in a corner eating, and they were throwing darts way over there, and I was about 305 at that time. I was a big boy. I tossed a lot of furniture, and so I was a decent strength, and I'm just eating. It was like 2:00, and the guy comes over. I don't even know the guy barely, I think.
Nope.
Dave's like, just let him be. He's eating. And so I didn't say anything. Dave spoke, and I'm just in there cutting up food. By that time, I was getting pretty ornery with my drinking.
He
So
reached over and grabbed Brett's French fries.
he grabbed my French fries.
Oh, no.
So that's what I'm asking.
To
So
a big guy, that's a death sentence.
yeah, but to anybody, would you? I mean, somebody you
No,
don't
of course
know.
not. I'm making a joke. Yeah.
No, but I mean, and so I all I did is I stood up and I shoved him. I don't remember anything. I mean, I don't think we like locked up, but
He flew about 5 bar stools.
he touched my fries. Damn it! I mean, what'd you say? You touched my fries. They had good crinkly fries, man. If they were little floppy ones, I wouldn't have messed with a guy.
But these fries were worth it.
They were worth the ass whooping, let me tell you. But I didn't get my ass whooped. But not that time. I didn't. For me, pain was sort of, I don't know. It's the only way I knew I was alive. It's sort of sick.
Yeah.
It's not sort of. It's sick.
It is sick. Yeah.
I've faded from that, but chaos is my friend. I like chaos. There's a lot of smoke in there, and a lot of people can't move inside there. And so I feel very comfortable, and I'm slowly working my way out and realizing you people are actually normies. Like you said, I'm a worst case scenario guy. I've been stuck so many times. You get passed over and you'll flag them a bird and you move on. I get passed over. I flag them a bird. I want to burn their house down. I follow them, on social media for 3 years.
I'm hearing my mom right now. So yeah.
Yes. No, she's been very healthy for me because we do. I get to share ideas, and I think my insanity simmers hers, and when she's talking insane, it simmers mine. So
when it's not you having those
Yeah.
thoughts, like, hold on, that's going a little bit too far.
But you said something earlier. You said, even when I had that thought, I was wrong, and that they also taught me that I was not held accountable for my first thought. I was held accountable for what I did with it, and I love that. I don't know if that's biblical, but I absolutely love that. And so today, when I have a thought, like I hate that guy, I don't really hate that guy, but it's just ugly thoughts, and then I let it go.
There's another thing where it's like, especially if you're doing like an argument about like
Dave, you
an
put
idea.
us back up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're in an argument like about an idea, political, philosophical, whatever, if you're like disagreeing with someone, there's no way in hell they're changing their mind in the moment. Like you can say what you say, but like don't expect
It's like
them
arguing
to
with a
change.
referee.
Like, exactly.
Come on.
It's like give people time to think. Like
Yeah.
whatever happens in the moment is gonna happen. Like
If you're not willing, you said it in a different way earlier, but if you're not willing to work from someone else's perception, you don't stand a chance in either understanding them or giving an opportunity to give them a different view.
exactly.
They're not going to listen.
Yeah.
Because if you can't really I don't really know what it's like to not have a leg like Dave, but I've been around him enough and I've watched him. I can have empathy. I've seen him enough deal with it.
Yeah. You can understand, but you can't relate.
Yeah, I can't. And if we can get to that table, like this guy that goes around to all the colleges that's a conservative that sits there and lets all the knucklehead go. He just sets these kids up.
Yeah.
And he's now done 10,000 hours. He's a master. They're not. And he shreds them.
Oh, yeah.
Let them do 10,000 hours. They'll shred him.
Yeah.
And he's just gotten really good at his argument.
It is really fun to watch him get beaten down by like some
I
dumb
haven't
college
seen
kid.
many.
It's so
Is it?
fun.
Okay, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to. Okay, then tonight I'm gonna search.
There's
for
a
some.
few. There's not many, but there's a few that
because
like
he's really good at dodging. He will stay away from that and do a snide comment, move on to the next. And
Yeah.
Not that I don't agree with some of what he says, probably more so than you, but I don't like the delivery. You're not going to change. Matter of fact, that young lady will remember you for the rest of her life, and you may be the very reason she won't ever
and
consider.
she's going to be on the internet, and she's going to have that attached to her for it sucks.
And you will
like,
drive her. You're building your own enemies.
Yeah.
Slavery, we've done it forever. I know I jumped on slavery, but it's true. Whatever it is, we build our own cages.
Yep.
I did. Alcohol. It's crazy how the cycle, it's really simple. If it plugs into business, it plugs into personal life, it plugs into raising kids. If we get so complex, we make this world very difficult, and it's not. Be kind to the next.
Yeah.
They're innocent until proven guilty. And I'm not talking about in court. I just mean they're telling the truth until they're proven to be a liar.
Exactly.
And then once they're a liar, I'm going to trust you that you are a liar.
Yeah.
I will trust what you show me.
Yep.
And since we're into quotes, one of my other favorites when you keep listening to what I say, and I'll keep listening to what you do. That's what I do. You can talk all day, and I'll listen. But your mama, I watched, and it lines up. And so now I got me an authentic person, and I like that. And I'm blessed to have a lot of that in my life. Were there any more pictures I was missing?
I think I put 6 up there.
Dave, flip through.
I'm going back.
I don't remember how many.
I just want to make sure we didn't miss anybody.
Yeah, because
So we may have to get
hold on.
dressed up, Dave. I mean, listen, we already got your leg. Dude.
Oh yeah, this is a shot of. I think this is all the male characters that were dressed up.
Now, okay, so they can be from any show, any
So
comic.
this is specifically that one game.
I got you.
So you can see me in the very, very back, at the very top middle.
Oh, I see the pointy. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just taller than everyone else. They always put me in
that
the
is
back.
yeah. What is that about that? I mean, we always get thrown in the back.
If I was in the front, you wouldn't be able to see
you
anyone.
could be laying down there all sexy with one leg up.
I couldn't even sit in that cloak, dude. It was literally, oh my God. The first day we get dressed, I sit down in the car. I'm an idiot. I keep the cloak on.
No, driving?
No, not driving. I'm a passenger. I sit in the car. I hear a snap. I'm like, the plate on the side of my cloak just snapped. I've put so much work into this, and now it's ruined. So I have to run back upstairs. I get some super glue, and I try to stick it back in. It's still broke by the time I get there. I fixed it for the next day, but I'm just like, I'm so dumb. Why did I do this?
Did you is it about networking and meeting new people that have common interests?
Sometimes just going, like, I've met a few people. I added one person. So the guy was like, it's Pierre. Oh my God. I added him on Discord. But no, like, you can.
Do you ever see girls like in a dress? I mean, all dressed up and go, hey.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, because you got some attention in that outfit now. So me and Mama want to know: are there any new numbers in that phone number?
No. There was one cute girl who she did it twice. She saw me and my friend Bud was dressed up as a character from a different game. She walks up to us and is like, "You guys' outfits are awesome." And then she showed up at the meetup again. I don't recall if she was dressed up, but she was like, "Josegan, your outfit is so cool." And I was like, yeah, it is.
Is dating a big thing at y'all's age? I mean,
so for me, I had a lot of issues growing up. So even now I've spent a lot of time. I know I would be bad in a relationship.
Yeah.
So I stay back from it. Now I'm getting on the Bumble, going on
that's
dating
what I was going to ask.
sites.
So where is that where you? Because most of them get it on sites.
I don't go to other places other than this. I play my games, read, do fun stuff on computers.
Everybody,
but
your generation, my sons are on the dating apps. Jacob, who has a beautiful young lady they've gotten pretty serious. She's flying to the Netherlands to meet him because he's over in Japan. They've gotten very serious. They met online as well. My mother-in-law, she's actually a baby boomer. I mean, she's 26, 27. She's a baby boomer. I ain't telling her age. Anyways, she met her husband. They've been married, I think, almost 20 years now. Met them online. So he was actually the first one that I'd ever heard. I'm an old timer, and her daddy was World War II generation. So he called me when they started dating, and they had met online. He said, Brett, he said, I want you to go get that man's license. And because at that time I was running a bunch of wood use, and we were always running criminal reports. And
Goodness.
oh yeah. And so, Dennis is a fine man, but I didn't know him at that time. And I was losing my beautiful mother-in-law, who's one of my dear friends, and she's going to Denver, and I'm leaving. She's leaving me. I had two beautiful girls that spoiled me rotten, my wife and my mother-in-law. And so now this guy finally gets her, and they're beautiful together. It's a great thing. But at that time I didn't know him. And neither did Gran. And Gran's like, I want you to go get his license. I want you to run a report. I'll pay for it. And man, because I guess he knew I was just that bold joker. All right. So I went to Dennis. Says, Dennis, I need your driver's license. And he's like, I said, Gran is wanting to run a background. I don't remember if Gran
you just
called
told him outright.
Yeah, I don't remember if Gran had told him prior. I don't really think so. I'll have to find out. I'll put it somewhere or we'll talk next time. But definitely asked him for a license and ran a report and gave it to Gran. And he and I sat there going through all this, okay, we got to this, that, the other. And he's obviously was a great man. I would not have given my license. What a neat fella to do that. I mean, looking back, I'm like, who the heck? But Gran told me to do it. So I was like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was my wife's grandfather, and he was very dear to me. If that man said do anything, I did it. So we checked his license, and he's a good man to this day. So dating apps are now.
Yeah.
You find more on dating apps than you can't find them in a club or I mean, where do you go?
Also, I don't go to clubs. I don't think I would want someone who goes to clubs.
Yeah. See, and I wasn't a clubber. I just liked being around people that wasn't business, I guess.
It's a lot different if you can't drink if you're at a club too.
That's true.
That's true. Okay, that's true. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't go to clubs anymore, so I guess that's true.
Yeah. I mean, what was the first thing you did when you walked in the club?
Oh gosh,
Got a drink.
Well, they would have them lined up. I'd have two doubles, and a beer I'd pound, and then I'd have a beer I'd start.
They had your usual already set up.
Yeah, they knew. Man, I spent some.
Oh,
money.
ask him how I took care of him.
Oh man, there was Chicago Pizza, and there was TVs. We didn't know each other really. It was TVs everywhere, and I'd come in on a Saturday after baseball with the kids and all, and he'd have every sports channel on, and I don't think I had friends. Me and John would come in every now and then. John Spray, but it was basically me, and then I just got to know them, and they got to know me. I mean, I think
all sports on.
Yeah.
He'd have a schedule in front of him.
What
was
God,
coming on?
Dave was awesome. Well, he ran a major
beer shot.
Yeah,
and it was waiting on him.
Yeah, nice. And then about 2:00 in the morning, I'm in the kitchen, making pizza. That was my favorite cartoon. That was my favorite character on the Muppets. And so I spent a lot of money. I'm not trying to. I didn't realize how much money I was spending. I didn't care. I was making a lot of money, and I was a drunk, and I could drink with all y'all, and I'd buy people shots. Not for big guys, just love to have fun and pay the bills. So they allowed me to do a lot. And I used to go to the back and make pizza late at night, and we would make a mess, me and John, and bless Dave's heart. I didn't know it, but he would have to clean up. I would do the Orsch board. powder every. Dave, you said
the flour from the pizza.
Oh man. And we're tears. Just I'm having a blast.
Then they're throwing the flour at each other.
I love having a good time. I'll tell you, I don't need alcohol. I somehow stumbled into that. I still don't know how I got that deep in it. I'm glad I'm out of it. I love to have a good time. I am a little crazy, and I sort of like being raw, youthfully raw. I'm not afraid to get old. I'm not trying to be a 20-year-old, but your brain can stay young. You can go to a MegaCon at 33 and stay young. What I used to think was weird, I now see that it's almost a little fountain of youth. To whatever degree you can have it.
I mean, you gotta have
mentally
passions and just hobbies other than your job.
But it's the creative side.
That's so important.
It's the creative side. There's a creative side.
Oh yeah,
to this.
absolutely.
And it's the creative side. I mean, you can go have hobbies, and I love to fish, but fishing doesn't give me my creative side. It's just me chasing a fish and having fun and relaxing and just staying in the moment, not worrying. But this, I don't know. It begins to ignite your brain a little bit. It's not something I would do today, but it's something I'll do next year to learn, get out of the comfortable. Heck, I'll go in an outfit.
Yeah.
I'm not going in that big old pointy one. That's heavy.
Yeah.
Dave, we're going next year.
All right. What was this one called?
MegaCon.
MegaCon.
Now
Okay.
listen, we're going to build you a wheelchair that is like robot. We're going to call it.
What's the guy from the X or
Yes.
Professor X from
Yeah.
X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be awesome.
We're going to put lights on your leg and like it tall. I don't know. I have so much fun with his leg. I'm proud of him. That man's been through a war with all that he's gone through. So you said you can't drink beer.
Correct.
Is that genetic or?
So I was able to drink for a while. So even growing up, I was pretty straight edge. Like I had a drink at my parents' wedding, like a glass of champagne, and that was it until 21. And then 21,
You didn't really-
I went off the rails. So I, like growing up with an alcoholic, I would make sure that I would not, no alcohol is allowed in my house, period. So even friends come over, they want to hang out, no alcohol is allowed. I had a roommate for a while. He asked if he could bring some beer. I was like, if you want, buy a mini fridge, put it in your room. I have no access to it. Nothing alcoholic is allowed in my house. So I just made sure that like anytime I drank, I could drink socially. I was 25, I think, when it happened. I have something called diverticulosis. So it's like you go have your intestines. They have like little pockets in them.
Right.
This one get like really big. I have it like all throughout my intestines. But what happened is I didn't realize I had diverticulitis, which is the infection, like flared up, and I had actually perforated my intestine. So like if your intestine is a wall, it went boop, and like had a little rip in it.
so it's coming out. It's leaking into your body.
So there's an entire story around that. So I was still working part-time at the time. I offer up like all my shifts for when it happened. I didn't realize it happened. I was like, I'm sick. I just need to lay down, sleep this off. I have a fever. I can feel it, but I don't own a thermometer. So like, I'm just going to sleep it off. 3 days go by and the fever's not getting better. I finally go buy a thermometer. I'm running at 104.1.
Your mama didn't know this?
She was in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because she'd already known.
Yeah, she would have already
She'd
known.
have sat
but-
up. My boy's sick.
Yeah. So she was in Miami at the time, like the only time they've ever been to Miami. And I call her. I'm like, hey, listen, I knew I had diverticulosis at the time because I had a flare up when I was like 21. But like nothing ever came from it. So like my diet restricted a little bit, which I kind of like sesame seeds,
Right.
corn, things like that. But like I barely even like paid attention to that.
So the barley in the
yeah.
in the beer.
Well, no, that's something different. That I could have that then.
Okay, gotcha.
So 25 fever. I go to my mom's place while she's not there, and I call her, of course, let her know I'm doing this.
Right.
I had some antibiotics from last time it happened, which was like 4 years ago. Thank God nothing was bad with
Right.
antibiotics. So I take the antibiotics, and literally overnight my fever goes away. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. I feel a little bit of pressure in my side.
Right.
And she literally drives back up from Miami next day.
That's Miss
There
Becky.
she goes. Yep. She drives back up to Miami. She's like, "You're staying in this house tonight. I'm going to watch you like a hawk."
I
Like,
love it.
okay. Day goes by, and I still have that pressure in my side. It doesn't hurt. My fever's gone, but I'm like, it feels a little weird over there. She's like, "Okay, we're going to the emergency room."
No.
Okay, emergency room. I guess we're gonna wait for like 6 hours for nothing. Go to the emergency room. I get a CT scan of my abdomen. I get sent back to the not the waiting room, but like the bed I was in.
Right.
And not long passes, and this one scrubbed up person comes into the room and is like, "All right, you ready to go?" Like,
going for surgery?
what do you mean? He's like, "You're being prepped for emergency surgery." I'm like, "Hold on, you want to tell me what's going on?" He's like, "Oh, the doctor hasn't seen you yet." And literally, as he says that, the doctor walks in the room.
Oh
He's like,
no.
"All right, here's what's going on. We've seen that you have a perforation in your intestine. We're gonna go cut you open and resect it." I'm like, okay.
No time to think.
Yeah, it's like, take me when you're ready. So I get to the OR prep area. My mom is losing it
Yeah.
at this point.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
so bad for her. Like, I mean, I feel bad. There's nothing I could have
Right.
done other than like, hey, maybe I shouldn't have like eaten the one thing that I didn't know I ate that would have like flared
Right.
me up. But yeah. So they're prepping me for emergency surgery. And this chief of surgery, Debbie Berlin, comes in and is like, "All right, I have two options for you." I'm like, all right, I'm excited. She's like, number one, we cut you open, resect like 6 inches of your colon, and you have to get a colostomy bag because we can't repair you if you're in the middle of an active infection. after 6 months, you come back, we slice you open again, then we can repair you. I'm like, that sounds awesome, but I think I want to hear the second option
Yeah,
first.
I'm with you. All right, I'm on option 2, please.
The second option is we do nothing. I'm like, I assume that doesn't end in me dying. And she's like, you actually have what's called a microperforation. And the way that it split, the way that it split, I'm apologizing to the audience.
Okay, sorry.
The way that it split, the connective tissues of my abdomen held everything in. So like I wasn't having
You got lucky.
literal like bacteria leaking into my body. I was absurd. Like, considering I let it fester for 3 days, if it wasn't like that, I would be dead.
Yep.
Like I got very,
Sepsis
very
And so
lucky.
and everything.
I guess it reheals itself.
Yeah, she
like
was
a tear.
No food, no water for 5 days. We rescan you, see what happens. So for 5 days, nothing could enter my mouth. I had an IV that it was saline and like glucose
Okay,
to like
helped a
make sure I
little
didn't
bit.
get hungry.
Yeah.
That was, and then massive amounts of antibiotics. Like I don't even remember the antibiotic name, but they were like, we're just pumping this into you you will not be not on an IV drip. Like, good luck.
Stayed in the
Thankfully,
hospital?
admitted for 5 days. Day like 4 comes by and they re-CT me. They're like, you're healing. We're going to give you some food, clear soup. If you drink it or if you like have that and we don't like reperforate, you're good. So I eat. Day 5 comes around, August 18th, my birthday. I'm 26 now in the hospital.
Oh,
and
no.
yeah. And they're like, you're good. You can go home. I'm like, thank
On your
goodness.
birthday?
On my birthday.
Man, that's a good gift right there.
Yeah, it's a very good gift.
Wow.
But
there's nothing you could have really done to avoid it, right?
Not really.
It was
I mean,
something you grew into.
So I have no idea how I have it because diverticulosis is usually a disease that affects older people. There's like something that happens like as you live. But I just got it super young because I'm.
See, I've
super
heard
lucky.
it, but so it's just certain foods that then
So
cause
because
what?
Now, I have a question. What does this have to do with alcohol?
So because I perforated, there's scar tissue there now. And I don't know why alcohol and specifically anything spicy affects it. But like literally Debbie Berlin, the chief surgery, looked at me like as she was taking me out of the operating prep room. She was like, never drink. Like,
Wow.
okay, done.
Wow.
Like, luckily, I'm not a very big
Alcohol-
drinker.
I'm
Right.
still alive. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's a fair trade.
Exactly.
So you didn't have any, you had no alcoholic tendencies or anything.
So I was a social drinker, but I would only drink at like big parties. If we ever went out to a restaurant, I would never go to bars. I went to a bar once, but wasn't my thing. When we would go to restaurants, I like other people drink. I would not have anything. When we had parties, I was the drunkest person in the room at all times.
Wow.
We went to I was working at the union at the time. We went to a one of my coworkers' places, and it was me, another big guy like me, and a dude that's probably like this thin around. Like
Right.
I could pick him up and launch him like a javelin.
Right.
Like he was so thin. We got 2 750 milliliter things of vodka. We get there before the party starts. Those bottles are gone by the time the party starts.
Not
and
good.
the small guy was like, he had like 3 shots and began vomiting. Me and my other big friend were like, we finished the entire bottles. And that was the start of the night. Throughout the night, we had, like me and another one of my friends, we would have challenges where we would like grab the nearest bottle of booze, look at each other in the eye, and start drinking. And whoever stopped drinking last lost, or stopped drinking first lost. I was like, yeah, that was. I had even growing up, I like never vomited. That night, I vomited bad.
But you
But,
had
it
a
was
tendency
broken
for
swing
higher. You
I'm
were
a big guy. I have really
you
good
could drink.
alcohol
Yeah,
tolerance.
me
Yeah.
too. Me too. Did you? So the quitting wasn't anywhere associated with I don't want to ever
No.
become an alcoholic or anything. It just was body and.
Well, I do have a very addictive personality. Food is
But
a big
you-
one.
yeah.
So like,
but to
things-
know that is weird to me. I guess
Oh,
that's
yeah?
why I'm an alcoholic. Yes, because I mean,
it's weird. Like if you pick up something bad and like you're like, oh, okay, I can see myself getting like way too into like gambling. Like I stay away from like actual gambling sites. I'm actually going to Vegas for a work conference in April or May. I'm like, I'm setting aside like probably like
That's what I do.
$700. And like if I lose it all, I paid $700 to have fun.
That's exactly what I do. I go
yeah.
in going, I'm paying $500 to $700 to enjoy myself.
Exactly.
And if I happen to win,
If I win anything,
that's
great.
more.
If I lose everything, I had fun.
Yep. When I'm done, the question is, when you're done, can you be done? And
That's exactly. I've set myself that limit.
Yep.
I know if I don't set myself that limit, I could go hard on some gambling. Gambling is so fun.
So it's sort of weird because I'm not a pill guy. So like I said, they'd give me Xanax years ago when I went to Vegas that one time, and I never abused them. Matter of fact, they set me up for 3 for the longest time, 3 a day, and I was only taking 1 a day, and then I got to where I wasn't taking 1 every day, and so I would have a pile of them, and I would go hand it back in, But mentally, I wanted her to keep giving me the 3 because mentally, because there were some days that I would take 2. You know, I didn't ever really get to 3, and then she bumped me down to 2, and I was still only taking 1, and so I would always kept them, and I got to where and then the marijuana. I had a young doctor, your age, a little bit older now, and she said, "Have you ever tried marijuana?" I was like, "Yeah." You know, I mean, I hadn't smoked in forever. Because matter of fact, I started drinking because my mother. Grown man here, and I went to Brazil, and my mother had my car washed, and I had an aftermarket. Oh, I'm telling on you, mommy. She don't know what she's saying. I had an aftermarket, armrest. Man, I had that weed rolled up tight, up inside, and pulled. I mean, come on, we know how to hide our weed, right? But I'm a grown man. And so my car was parked at my mother's, and she had the keys. Well, she said she went to go get it washed, and it fell out. They don't take aftermarket thing. My mama went through my truck and found marijuana. She was nosy, and I was sitting in my condo, and she came walking in. Dawn Marie was there, and on my coffee table, she dropped it down. She goes, "What's this?" I'm like, "It's marijuana." You know what I mean? Like, what do you? It's grass. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a grown man. I'm gonna smoke. But I did. Zach was born, and I said, or was getting born, and I was like, it is time. I'm a grown man. I'm gonna drink like a sophisticated person. I never drank before that. I mean, I had some beers,
right,
and then from then it took off. And so when the medical marijuana came around, she goes, "Have you ever tried marijuana?" I was like, "Yeah." And so we talked a little bit, and I got my license, and what a difference. So someone call it California sober. So
yeah, I don't like smoke at all.
Yeah.
So and unfortunately, I've learned I'm one of the people that edibles does nothing to.
They do nothing to me either.
I don't do any recreational drug at all. So
yeah, they don't do nothing to me either. But see, I couldn't get high if I wanted to. I mean, I'd smoked for so long. It's like a muscle relaxer almost. And it does take pain away from my back because you can get them with lower CBD, and that's what people don't understand nowadays. Now, what I used to buy on the street, that thing was laced, and you never knew it was Mexican weed. They dip in some formaldehyde, so you get some kind of high off of it. But today they're very regimented. You know what you can go in and go, I want to lower THC because I got rear-ended. There's still a claim going on. I mean, I lost my roofing company.
Oh goodness!
And so I can't climb roofs and everything.
Oh,
so
okay. That makes sense.
yeah, I mean, but I've gotten somewhat better. My memory was really bad. Golly, Dave. I mean, I couldn't remember short-term memory.
Yeah,
it still happens. That's where this started. Was I'll be sitting here, I'm like, Dave, where was I? And I just, it's gotten about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
So
I actually learned that when I went because for a while I didn't have insurance.
Yep.
Which, funnily enough, that's when I went to the hospital. So not having insurance going there was a very fun time. But I got insurance back when I got my full time of this job, and I finally started going to the doctor, getting my annual physical. I'm like, I'm 30, I should probably start doing this.
Yeah.
And I waited a year, and okay, let me actually call and start getting this done.
When did I start sticking your finger up the butt? When you're my age,
that's
man.
really fun. Well, I've gotten colonoscopy, so
okay.
I do have GI issues.
Okay.
But when I went, they were like, "All right, we're gonna do a CBC," and I was like, "I'm super vitamin D deficient. I don't go out in the sun." So it's like, start going out in the sun more. I was like, or take these supplements. So I started taking that. My memory has actually gone way up.
Really?
Because of then. It feels like vitamin D actually might be either a mood regulator or have something to do with your brain. But after starting to take supplements, I've been like, this is amazing.
There's that one you can go and take the one test to see what your body is deficient of for the rest of your life, and so you'll know how to apply it to your body. because like you may be a little bit different than your mom,
Mm-hmm.
and you know me and my sister could be different, you know, and so I know magnesium's really low on me too, and like iron on women.
Yeah.
I mean, when we regulate
Mine's potassium.
potassium
Fun.
and then protein, do you eat a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Do you follow how much protein you eat a day?
I don't count macros because
Okay.
I'm not bodybuilding, so
Yeah.
I hadn't really had to need to, but no. So, but I do eat like just a ton. I can have red meat, but I don't have it often. But I eat a ton of chicken, so
Yeah. Well, okay, I got you. Chicken's great.
it is awesome.
That's Zach. So Zach, he eats almost the same. He's golly, man. I mean, when he goes out with us, he'll eat nice, but he eats chicken and rice. I mean, that's what them boys do. You know, them guys that are trying to be all they can be. I do need to eat more protein each day, so I can tell it in my muscles when I eat protein because I work out. When I eat protein, I got my size gets better. It's been fun. I got on the scale the other day at Publix. I was 220. So that means I went down to 207 and I've started beefing back up a little bit. I mean, I'm not in the gym. If I can't do it on a regular basis, it's the same with losing weight. I have to find something. Everybody wanted me to do all this. I kept eating fried chicken. And I just drastically cut my calorie intake.
So losing weight is all about I think the diet is called CICO, calories in, calories out.
Yep.
Where it's like you can do everything like you want, like super healthy. If your calories are up, you're gonna gain weight. Calories down, you're gonna lose weight. Like there was a doctor, I think, who like in order to prove this had a diet of nothing but Twinkies for like I think it was 3 or 4 months. I was
Somebody
like, yeah,
did that
I can
at
lose weight in
McDonald's.
this. Yeah.
Somebody ate
Are you talking about the
nothing
supersized
McDonald's.
Big Mac
Yes.
every day.
Big Mac every day got huge, and then well, one guy put on the weight to show people how to take it off, and almost didn't get that weight off.
Yeah.
So
Well, so you know the show The Biggest Loser?
yeah,
A lot of those people just ruin their bodies. Like crash diets like that affect your metabolism. So
Oh, for sure.
you have something called a base metabolic rate, BMR, which is like it's calculated off your size, but there's other factors into it. Going on crash diets like that, like doing 1,000 calories a day, lowers your metabolic rate by a ton. And some of those people, like there was an article about it earlier, where it was like their BMR should be like 22,000, 2,200 calories. It's down to like 1,200,
Right.
Which that means you have to eat less than 1,200 calories a day to lose weight.
you would be shocked.
Insane.
I know I did that. That's how I lose. I did it 3 times in my life. We were doing a video shoot for Would You, and I was in my 20s, and I'd gotten up to like 225, and to me that was big, and it wasn't muscle. I was eating it, and so I dropped 50 pounds. I got down to 178 in 3 months
Wow.
on peanut butter crackers and Dr. Pepper. And it was actually peanut butter crackers and water. I used Dr. Pepper at first, and once I could wean myself off of that, I literally got to where in a lunch, 2 crackers was a lunch. I would eat the corner, and I would chew it to mush. I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but I'd chew it to mush, and I'd drink a bunch of water in between every bite because I had learned to shrink my stomach. And once your stomach gets shrunk, I mean, I got to where I literally could eat almost nothing. And then I learned about intermittent fasting. That's helped me.
Yeah.
Because I was still eating Publix chicken. How was I going to wean myself off of that? So then I said, okay, I'm going to quit eating at this time. I'm going to keep eating what I eat, but I'm going to quit eating this time. And I didn't see, hundreds of pounds, but all of a sudden, well, one, I quit drinking. And the amount, my calorie, I was probably
Our calorie
drinking.
intake was ridiculous.
Dave, what are you thinking? I probably drank 3,000 calories.
There's 110 calories per shot of Fireball.
What?
Really?
And we
I
were
would do
drinking
15.
We were drinking a bottle and a half a night.
Wow.
The big they actually, I mean, I could drink, Bubba. My tolerance level got up there. When I quit drinking, they had to quit ordering so much Fireball because Fireball. I thought it was Patron that was my problem. Then I thought it was Jack Daniels. Then obviously, okay, so now if I do this it's Cinnamon. So how bad could it be?
Speaking of that, like addicted, the last time I drank before, like I went to the hospital, I had tried Fireball for the first time, and I was like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever had."
The greatest.
Ever. Yeah,
It's
The
good.
cinnamon-
I remember when it came out.
They dominate still, I'm sure. So
It's popular still.
isn't it funny though that it's called spirits? And the bottle is the spirits, and you lose your spirit. I always find all that like maritime law. Do you ever
No.
follow that? How they are? I'm not saying this is accurate, but they say that there are many that argue that there really should be 13 months. Why are our months not even? Why are our days? And when you put 13 months, every month's even in days, and so technically I wouldn't be a Scorpio. Because I have a lot of attributes that are not Scorpion. I have a lot that are, and I've always wondered, well, that doesn't. and I think I would have been a Libra, which I have all those.
Well,
And
are you ready for me to blow your mind?
yeah, do it.
Have you know October, November, December?
Yeah,
Oct being 8, Nov
Yeah.
being 9.
There it is.
December being 10.
yeah,
Why are they not the 8th, 9th, and 10th months?
yeah.
There's a reason. Do you know?
I don't know.
It's because January and February were on the other side of the calendar.
Just like Sunday was.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't remember when it happened.
Sunday used to
but
be
like,
the start of the week, and now it's the end of the week.
So one of the things I watch a bunch of time is like etymology, I think is how you pronounce it. Like
Etymology?
the study of like how words came to be and
Ooh,
like
I like that.
the origin of the words. And one went over like the old names of the months, and I couldn't. It was a while because I couldn't like tell you all the names
Right.
of like what they once were. But January and February were like these nameless months at the end of the year that were moved to the beginning, and that's why. But we just kept Oct, Nov, and Des at the very end of the year without renaming them. So
Interesting.
That's why.
So, but that still doesn't say that it should have 13 months, though, does it?
Yeah, that
I don't know it to be true.
I've seen like things where people are talking about like redoing the calendar
Right.
in order to like make everything
Right.
uniform, and then like the leap year is just a day, like the leap day every
Right.
4 years is just a day that like everyone gets off. Doesn't technically exist,
Right.
but like we have it to like
Reset,
reorganize the calendar. Yeah. But a lot of the things I hear people talk about that is like, that means my birthday is always on a Wednesday. It will never move. That's terrible. Why would I ever want this? So,
I don't know. I don't understand daylight saving time and how it benefits the Illuminati or whatever, what everybody's saying. I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why we don't just every year adjust our clock. If we're off, then adjust every year. Hey, everybody go back 5 minutes.
I read a little bit about
I
it a
don't
long
get
time
it.
ago. It was like due to farmers like trying to save daylight and like
In
when they
schools and everything is what
Yeah.
it was during the wars. They
Something
were
like
trying
that,
to,
yeah.
during the war, they changed it because during the wars, they were trying to save electricity and they would be able to go during the day and not have to use it at night. Well,
Yeah, so
yeah, that's where it started. It was like,
but like nowadays it's like, is it really necessary? Like, come on.
okay, it's like this. This is what okay. I understand about the FDA. I'm gonna jump back in. I don't know where this is coming from, but the FDA and all that. But when they tell me on an airplane to tuck my head between my knees as I'm flying down for however fast the airplane goes, Bubba, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
All it is to occupy people so they don't panic while they're dying.
Well, I mean, so there's multiple things about that. I choose to believe that it's all about like hope. It's like give people something to do. So yeah, they don't panic, and like hopefully this does something for them. The other like, I don't want to say it's conspiracy theory, but it's like it's to preserve your dental record. So like if you put all your bones around your teeth, that if you like burn up in the crash, your teeth are still
That makes
intact
sense.
to like make sure you can be identified.
Yeah.
I-
So
Makes
no
perfect
idea the
sense.
truth on that, but like
that's
what
pretty
I've
cool to
heard.
look at. I like running those rabbit holes. So you're saying don't stand up and go, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, because that means like when you land, you're gonna break your teeth, and you don't know.
The other one was the actual mass and the oxygen they put in and how pure the oxygen is that they're pumping in you and whether or not it settles you or not.
So there is a phenomenal video. I believe it's Smarter Every Day about hypoxia, where he goes into a chamber that like sucks the oxygen out of the room, but like pumps in, I think, nitrogen. So he's like
Right.
basically asphyxiating. And has like these little puzzles, like children's puzzles, like put the
Right.
star in the star hole, circle in the circle. And he's trying to do those as they're taking the oxygen out of the room.
Yep.
And he has a mask that's like on his neck. And like he gets to a point where he cannot put the like right shape in the right hole. And like, all right, Dustin, I think his name is, you need to put on your mask. He's like, he tries to put like a shape in the hole. He's like,
He's out of it.
yeah, he's fully cognizant in a way,
Right.
not cognizant. He's fully like awake,
Right.
but there's no oxygen to his brain, so he has no
Yep.
idea what's going on. And the guy is like, you need to put your mask on, or you're going to die. Put your mask on now. And he's like, I don't want to die. Please help. And they have to like go put the mask on. So yeah, regardless of what the oxygen content is, that if you're like if
You have
if
to
you
get
lose
air.
oxygen,
Yeah.
you need to put it on yourself first
Yep.
because you won't be able to put it on anyone else, like
Yep.
your kid who's like too young to put it on your own if you don't put it on yourself first. Like it's crazy the effects of hypoxia.
Las Vegas was my last flight. I haven't flown. I mean, I used to fly to Brazil. It was 17
You've
hours.
never flown since I've known you.
No, I don't fly. It's a mental thing. Now I really think I can jump on airplanes. but I drive so much. It's just, I like being able to get out when I want to. That's not a scare thing. I really like stopping and going to a mountain or walking a trail or stupid. My dad got me I'll stop in the middle of the day driving out to Dallas. I'll stop in Louisiana somewhere and spend the night doing something stupid, out in the woods.
Well, I mean, you guys know this. I flew for the first time.
Yeah.
That's right.
A few weeks ago.
That's right. Your mom was so proud of you. And
No, she was terrified.
she was terrified, but she was proud when you landed.
She hates flying.
Well,
But yeah, so I did that, and I'm like, if I ever have to drive more than like 3 hours somewhere, I'm flying. Like,
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
See, I love
And then
driving.
now I'm going to Vegas in like a few months, so that's fun.
And Vegas is nonstop, so that'll be.
Yeah.
That's
No, we're doing a changeover in Atlanta.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's
So
gonna
you
be
go to
fun.
Atlanta, and then that's
Yeah.
45
Someone's
minutes
flying
up.
Delta.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. You
Delta.
got
Always,
it.
yeah. Let's see. Who goes through Dallas? So usually I go
It
through
used to be
Dallas.
Northwest.
Yeah, Northwest. I'd always end in Dallas and then go to Vegas. But then they started flying straight to
Southwest
Vegas.
flies straight through.
Southwest isn't a bad airline. They were the first ones to be goofballs. I was literally on the. I used to fly all the time, and I'm sitting up front. We're gonna need y'all to sit down. The pilot can't see to back up. And it was the first time I had ever heard that. I'm like leaning. Wait a minute. What are they talking about?
Pilots are like hilarious. There's a channel on YouTube called FAS, I think, Aviation, where it actually takes the air traffic controller like radios and like.
I love when they
puts them on
argue with
YouTube.
each other.
There's one where like some F-16s are like flying close to a plane, a commercial like 737.
Hey,
And
you ask him if he wants to race.
well, no, the ATC the controller is like telling him like, hey, be advised, this is happening, and let us know when you have visual contact. And the pilot's like, visual contact, too close for missiles, switching the gun.
Yes.
It's
I
like,
did hear
pilots
that
are
one.
Hilarious.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I have no desire to be flying the way I used to. Now I didn't fly like my dad. My dad flew all over, but I did a lot. I was probably flying 3-4 times a month, and then I just got to where I think I can jump back on them. I mean, we're gonna find out. I don't think it's not a fear thing. It's just now I've gotten so used to not being flying.
You need a reason to like.
Airports, if you've done them enough, they've gotten even worse.
Yeah.
But 9/11 and all that crazy stuff. That's really when
Security at airports now is a pain in the
it
ass.
really is, and there's no way around it. And I don't
Yeah,
like.
there is.
Okay,
Hop
yes,
in the wheelchair, you let
Yes.
them wheel you through.
yes, that's
The
true. I
secret
didn't
cheat
think
code
about
to cut
that.
off our legs.
Yes, no. They do have the pre guys, and I just don't. I have no need to fly business wise anymore. At least in the businesses I'm in right now. If it came back up, I would. I've thought about getting my pilot's license. I'm jumping out of an airplane in 2 weeks.
That
Are you
sounds
really?
fun.
Yeah. So I'm not like, it's not like a fear. Now it was just the like panic attacks. This was 25 years. I was 20 or 31 or whatever, 32, whatever it was. It was just an onset of what it's like the uncertain. I don't know. Mine were so intense, and the 4 square breathing is what helped me.
What is 4 square breathing?
It was the Navy SEAL thing, and it's 4 in, hold 4, 4 out, hold 4.
Oh, 4 seconds.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and keep repeating. And what I found was I don't have time to think about anything else because I'm counting 1, 2, 3. Because I would do it too fast because I want to get it to let's get this thing over with. And the more you do that, the bigger it gets. And men don't want to call them panic attacks. And listen, I was throwing up blood, man. I was under so much stress. It was coming out both ends.
Goodness.
And I was having panic attacks. I was writing goodbye notes. This was in my 20s. I was writing goodbye notes to my wife, dumping out all my marijuana because I didn't want anybody to find me dead with a bunch of marijuana because it was illegal at that time, and it was like a half an ounce. And I'm like dumping it. Next day I'd have to go buy more because I'm alive. And it went on. It was just waves. I would sit there for hours in a hotel room. And now I understand I was so far removed from humans, and I'm a kind of person that I need that touch, that energy from people, positive people. And I was around nothing but problems and struggles. And Dave will see me sometimes here today. I'm like, I got to go. And, it's because of phone calls and it's just, you got to get away and to the mental health.
Yeah.
That you guys.
I'm the exact opposite. Like this, the meetup that I was at, I arrived a little bit late. I left early because at that time I had so much tension on. I was like, I'm super happy. Like I did this. Super happy I'm here. I need to leave. I'm about to like just collapse.
You don't strike me as a people pleaser.
No.
So where? Because I think your mom more is.
Oh, I did have a picture of the Mecha Godzilla.
Oh, hang on.
So
Holy crud!
yeah, it's like, remember, I'm sitting like I'm not even holding my camera like too much higher. I'm just taller than everyone here.
Yeah.
But like,
So you're probably
this thing-
6'5", holding the camera up.
this
6'5",
thing is a
6'7".
full like 2 feet above me. It's crazy. But yeah, this is also like just one of the many quarters. You can see how many people are here. If you've ever heard of San Diego Comic-Con, there's a it was the go-to nerd mecca. Like you would go there for like they do announcements, but this has now gotten bigger than that.
You used
Like,
the N word like 3 times now, nerd.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
'cause I am one. I have the N-word pass.
Okay. All right, there you go. You need to make a T-shirt. That'd be funny. You get punched though. Everybody
yeah.
gets so
Oh,
hurt. Why are you
God.
trying to? I'm not. I'm a nerd. So I'm a nerd. What do I always say I am? I don't really call myself. Yeah, I do. A dork, nerd. I'm socially awkward.
Mhm.
I don't. I mean, I work with people all the time. I do this all the time, but I'm okay with it. I don't mind talking to people. It doesn't bother me. I enjoy people, but I there are moments where I do things that are awkward. Is that right?
I mean, you said socially
Yeah,
awkward.
you call
so-
yourself a dork all the time.
Yeah, dork.
Even the customers, everything.
You know what? It's something I got to get better at. I am so big about minimizing me, and it's not for kindness. It was really from the streets. And I'm not talking about the streets like I'm a gangster and all that, but I mean, the world I lived in, whatever someone thought of me, I fed.
Mhm.
And I don't care if you knew what I was. If you think I'm an asshole, and then I'll be even a more asshole too. If you think I'm a great guy, well, then I'll let you see the great guy part. And I got so arrogant about my intellect and how I had this figured out and you didn't. And man, I'm gonna take that bubble got burst a long time ago, and lessons were learned. I was put on my butt financially, mentally. I always say this: I was broken physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally and financially. I mean, I was desolate.
hit all 5.
All 5. And the last one that was given back to me was finances. And I believe that's the way the world works. I believe you have to do all the other work, that the mental health and the taking care of people, and whether you believe in a God or not a God. I do believe that there's a base on this earth that if you do good, the karma thing. And I do believe that for me, it comes from a higher power of some sort, where it didn't come from this idiot, where something's at the base of this world that if I do good to people, ultimately I will be seen as I'm supposed to be seen. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. I've been an asshole to somebody. I've done wrong things to people. I've tried to apologize as much as I try to clean up my mess as much as I can, but I'm sure there are people you can bring on here that will shred me. But when I get open and honest with myself and I just start laying it out, there's no fear. And when you have no fear, man, you can get a lot accomplished.
Oh yeah.
To walk in there with that outfit, as a nerd, I mean, that's taken you a lot of years to get there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God,
Because
yeah.
nerd was a negative term, and now you say it with
Even when I was growing up, like if you played video games, you played card
You were a
games, played
nerd.
like any of that, like you were socially ostracized. It's funny. It started changing at, like the year I left high school. Like I was like, go figure.
You know what's crazy? Think about it. When we were younger, if you weren't the kids outside playing, you were the nerd.
you were the nerds.
Oh, yeah.
And now, I mean, you barely ever see kids outside.
My
playing.
neighborhood, there's no, they're not outside. But I mean, I guess they are in sports and all. We got to be careful saying the next generation. Haven't you ever heard that? Like
Yeah.
the next,
Oh, yeah.
this generation.
Yep.
And I do want to be careful because they did it to me in my generation. Oh boy, when you get older, I've had so many old timers tell me, well, when you have a kid, you'll understand. When you have 2 kids, when you have a daughter. And every one of them I got right. Now I got a lot wrong, but I got my kids right. And they are my shining crown. I didn't build them. I laid the foundation. They built them.
Yeah.
And it was the way this world, I think, you're supposed to learn on your own. And I think all young people are. And then you are becoming the leader. I mean, we're fading, and in reality, your generation is the next. We may get Vance in there, but Vance isn't a Gen Xer, is he?
I don't think so.
He's like on the younger end. He's probably on the, so we may never get a Gen Xer in the
White House.
White House. Them damn boomers. They won't let go of nothing.
No.
They are so greedy. You hear me? Freaking boomers, your time's over, okay? We don't need a bunch of 80-year-olds running for president. We need
I firmly
35,
agree with that
40,
one.
45, 50 maybe. 55 should be the max. And you should have to be able to run stairs. I'm saying.
At least walk them.
Yeah, at least walk them. But I have to give us credit now. Obama, he was about as smooth as they came.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, him and it's sort of funny because you look at politics today. I remember when Clinton was polarizing, and Clinton is like an angel compared to all this hell shit that's going on nowadays.
Yep.
We got people trying to kill presidents. We got that. There's no way that kid got up there and made that shot on his own. Do you believe that?
Absolutely, he did.
You did?
100%.
Wow.
Yeah,
To get off that
easy.
many shots.
How many shots? He only got
There
off
was
like
5, 4. I'll put it in the comment. I got a lot
put
to
it
put in the
comment.
comments.
I thought it was like 2 or 3.
But they had a pro that tried to reset that gun, and he couldn't get it off in that speed. Who knows anymore?
I mean, look at it this way: you just had someone assassinate a CEO with a 3D printed gun.
That's
like,
crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what's really crazy is they've been showing that 3D gun on YouTube's
So now
ads
everybody's looking at it.
forever. They how it can, and they even say it can pass through scanners and
Security,
detect
yeah.
security. And I'm like, how do they YouTube let that on there?
So as an IT guy, advertising is the thing that like I get the most vigilant about. Like on my own computer, I have ad block, I have uBlock Origin, I have a network wide ad blocker that I have a funny story about. But like one of my friends was like, yeah, if I could, I would make a device that would, if I ever see an advertisement, would just shoot the person on the other side. Like I hate advertisements because that's, if you look into like internet privacy, internet tracking, all that fun stuff, that's all it's about.
That's all it's about.
It's not like any government wants to get your information, do anything. They just want to sell stuff to you.
Do you believe this though?
Did you hear about the story about Target? So it was a few years back, I want to say 2011, 2012. There was this woman who was shopping using the Target app, and it started sending her advertisements about baby stuff.
Right.
And she was like, why am I getting these advertisements? I'm not pregnant. Turns out she goes to the doctor.
Nah.
She's like 8 weeks pregnant. And Target knew that before she did because of her browsing habits. I'm pretty sure it was Target, and I think it was like early 2010s. Yeah, it's insane.
I'm gonna look into that. That's
like
awesome.
the detailed profile, like Google, like Facebook is the worst one. The everything Meta, like the profiles they have on you.
What about TikTok?
I mean, TikTok's bad, but like Facebook is probably the worst. Like
It
there was
knows
a time
it even
where-
knows the strokes you type and delete.
you know the thumbs up like Facebook like button. Any page that had that meant Facebook was tracking you. It's insane, like the amount of detail. Like, and again, it's not for any nefarious purposes. They just want to sell you stuff that like make money off of it. Crazy.
Until somebody gets a crazy idea and these people are bad, like they did the Chinese or the Japanese in World War II. We took Americans and put them in concentration camps.
Yeah.
Until we figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, let's go take Brett because he posts Ronald Reagan stuff on Facebook. It's been my header on my main page.
Oh, no.
Ronald Reagan used to say if you can't. Oh, crud. Hang on, let me get it right. I'm going to get it right, Bubba. I ain't going to get you wrong, Ronald. Hang on just a second there, cowboy. If you can't make them feel the...
Yeah, while you're looking that up, like,
Here it is. If you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat.
oh goodness.
And that was Ronald Reagan in a nutshell. And so I have that up there. So then I would be a conservative, militant. I am not. But I mean, the information they have on people that search and everything you search. I mean, I spent time. There's a website called watchdog.us, I think, and it shows every pedophile in your area if you put the address on. And when I had young kids, I would live on that thing in Fleming Island. There actually weren't many in Fleming Island. It actually grew. And it was funny. You could then click on the picture and you could see what they were accused of. And like a couple of them were young people. You probably were 18 with a 17-year-old or 16-year-old.
Was it accused of or convicted of?
No, convicted. They couldn't do it until they were convicted. Yeah. And I got into it
because accusing, that's scary if they had like that information.
No,
like,
I had, I'm not going to tell that story because I had a local law enforcement that could not tell me that my neighbor was a pedophile. This was years. I mean, we're talking about just 99, 2001, maybe 2002-ish. And I didn't know it, but they had a policeman usually in the general area. And I was traveled a lot. And I had 3 young kids. I thought the guy was like, I'd always come home and where my yard, it was a dirt road, and he would always be sitting there. And I'm like, this dude's like creeping on my wife, or, I mean, I had all these, I didn't like cops. Obviously I was a drinker and had drugs and, the typical idiot. And, come to find out he was actually watching my children because they couldn't tell me that he was a pedophile until he got charged.
Wow.
So, and then once he got charged, somebody shot up the fence and got all crazy on him, and they ended up moving in like 3 months. I don't know. They'll catch that guy one day. Maybe.
It's crazy.
I know. I had a policeman pull up one night about 2:00 in the morning, and I'd come outside, and that was during my Jack Daniels phase. And he went down the dirt road and was shining a spotlight into my house. And I'm like, I don't live in a subdivision back then. It was an acre and a half or whatever. And I'm like, so I come out my house, I'm like, come here. He goes pulling up on the dirt road, and he's looking at me. I'm looking at him. I'm sure I'm bloodshot eye red. And he's like, somebody fitting your description was said to have been discharging a shotgun. And this was in Fleming Island. I'm like, I said, you see a shotgun in my hand? He said, no. I said, well, if I see the guy, I'll call you. And I guess somebody had shot up the pedophile's fence while I was in the house. I didn't see him. So, whoops. Crazy. Oh, he did me a favor, whoever that guy was.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, do you think of the future much? This is interesting because I'm 2/3 of my life's over. So now I'm past that. Now I'm sort of, have I established enough? Can I set enough to help family, friends, me, and others? But I mean, do you think of where I want to be? Family, business, or do you just live day to day and enjoy it?
Yeah, just live day to day. Like,
there's a strength in this, in what you're doing,
especially with like someone who has bad anxiety, like trying to worry. What's the phrase? It's worrying about something before it happens makes you experience it twice. It's like that. Yeah, no, there's no reason to worry about it. Like, of course, I look to the future for like, I need a new car.
Right. You prepare the best you can.
I have a pension.
Right.
Like, I have investment accounts. Like, of course, I'm building towards the future. But if you're looking like us specifically, no, I just live day to day.
Yeah. But I mean, you're in a career that you love.
Yeah.
And so, you're one of those that really is established. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have everything headed in the right direction. Yeah. And
I'm very, very fortunate for that.
and would you say that is a lot of you and mom working together?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know.
She prepared me for the future like crazy well. So
she prepared.
Oh yeah,
she's worked hard. I don't know everything about her, but I do know a lot of her story, and she's been through a lot. And to still have what she has, and to have grown a business and sold it, very impressive. So you grew up when she sold it. How old were you?
Well, are you talking about Caregivers for Seniors?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God,
just ballpark.
I want to say it was mid 2000s, so I would be like early teens.
Yeah, so you're in your most impressionable years, watching your mom work hard, do well, grow a business, in spite of all the personal issues, and be successful.
Yeah,
and here she is bouncing out again, and not afraid to stick her neck out.
Yeah, and like she invested in me, so I was able to help her. Like when I moved out, like at that time I was still working part-time. Yeah. So it was like she bought my condo and was like, whenever you sell it, just give me what I paid in and you can have it, like you can take the rest in equity. I'm like, yeah, of course, it's a great deal. Like, love you, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, she started this business and it was like, hey, can I call that in early? It's
Yep.
like, of course, I make good money now. So I
Yep.
took out a $90,000 loan and gave it to her. So
Yep.
like, yeah, she invested in me. I'm more than willing to help. So
That's the beauty. You know, my families, when you know, blood and all, I don't know. I'm not a big blood family kind of a guy. I think you earn it.
I fully believe the people you choose to be around are more
your
important
family.
than the people you have to be around.
I 100% agree. Just because the same blood's running through,
Yeah.
and I love my immediate family, but some of my extended family, you can have them. I've blocked them on Facebook.
Yeah.
I've blocked them on everything I can. I don't even want you to see me.
Yep.
You know, because you. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm no contact with some of my immediate family,
Yeah.
so I get it.
Yeah, I do. And people read it wrong. You know, they think that I hate, and I don't. I just life's short.
Yeah.
What are we going to spend our time
I'm
on?
in such a good place right now. Like, could it be better? Yeah, but I'm not risking it.
Why would I want negativity always in my life?
Yep.
And my generation doesn't. They're starting to get it more, but the baby boomer one, they really can't even grasp it. They can't grasp that. I don't want more to gain what you have.
Yep.
And then I see it, us, I mean, I'm still chasing, but I mean, then I watch my kids and they have goals and they're out achieving. And financially, they're all in better spots than I was at their age. I was living on Phillips Highway at 25, you know, going to FSCJ one class a semester. It took me 9 years to get out of college. I had to work my way through and I watch all my kids and it's not a parent's job. But if you're in that position and it's a good person, you know, I don't think just because they're kids that they deserve stuff. You know, I certainly made sure every one of my children in college, and I have one in there right now, and I just took the $400 a month that I used to send her is now gone because she has a job and she's paying her $400 a month, which allowed me to buy her a car. So she's basically paying for her own car. Yeah. So and when after I bought the car, she was saying thank you to me, thank you, Dad, so much. And I said, sweetie, I said you earned this. This is your pay. When your friends go, oh, Daddy bought you a car, you look them dead in the eyes, and go, no, this is the car I pay for. And there's a pride in that of you know, but having a leg up, there is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's when the parent begins to enable and it's just nonstop throwing money at problems But your mama isn't just a money thrower.
No, God, no.
She sets, you know, foundations and thought processes, and she don't stop thinking. Was the anxiety, was that early in life as well?
Oh yeah.
And do you think it was the turmoil in your house?
That high school, especially like going to like the religious high school and getting that thrown at me.
So early years were not really fun for you.
No, they were not.
You were trying to figure out who the hell you were, or you knew and no one else could accept it. Which one do you think it was? Were you still figuring it out?
Still figuring out, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I was not the black coat wearing trench guy. I was the athlete that was always hanging out with you. It was really, we would have hung out. I had the guy in the back of the room, and I've said it a few times, but he's, you know, in the 80s, he'd have his knife and he'd be spinning it on the desk and carving in it. And he'd be drawing all the death things and all the torture rooms. And I'd be right there beside him trying to draw. I can't draw with a damn, but I had good ideas. Oh, look at this. This like goes slower. The whole swinging thing, and it goes slower and lower. And I'm drawing the blood. And, you know, and then it comes time for the test, and I've studied, so I'm taking the test. He's over there. He writes his name, walks up, sets it down, and walks out. I mean, he was just the rebel and that his friend, that gentleman, I don't know what happened to him, but his friend Alan Gordy was a trench coat wearing guy, and blah 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 blah. Big old boy. I guess you'd say a nerd. But really wasn't.
Hey, that's my word.
Yeah. Okay. I can't. Okay. It was an N. Well, we should say NN because you got the N and you got NN. So it was an NE, and we were buddies. And now that guy got into corporate America, got into IT, writing codes, and went huge. And he walked into Would You, my store, 7-8 years ago, and Don Marie was in there, and just a clean cut Brett. And we hugged and talked, and I suck at running people down and building relationships, so I haven't ran him down anymore. But that was neat. I could have been there. I think it was my parents. It was such a tight house. There was no way I could even buy a black trench coat. So I had to live vicariously through you. Your mama let you, to express yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I had the bowl haircut. So I wasn't even the best athlete in my own. Did you? I know there's immediate, but I mean, were you competing as always against brothers and things like that?
Not really.
Yeah, you just lived your own tune.
Yeah, I was like so I have a half brother who's 6 years older than me. And he did get me into one of my favorite hobbies. It's called Warhammer 40K. It's like these little miniatures. You go play war gaming, but you have to build and paint them all yourself. So more that creative side that you're talking about. But like, I remember trying to play with him and his friends, and they were all giant assholes, and it's like not fun to be around. I was trying to learn the game, and they were like, "You suck at this," and they'd beat the shit out of me.
That was my brother.
All right, well, cool, whatever.
Well, Bart would hold me so his buddies could punch me. So I was a scrawny kid. I didn't feel, but I'll tell you what, it made me tough, and I could take a punch. And
I'm not talking like physically.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about in game. So.
Oh, so I shouldn't talk about me getting all beat up by my brother for 18 years.
No.
Okay, I was on the clock at Duval County School Board, and we were called the Battling Blankenships. We played football against each other. And one day we were at the school board, and we started jawing at each other, and we both put a dip in and went behind the warehouse on the clock and got in a fight. And we got called the Battling Blankenships. And from that moment on, it was just back and forth. That was the first time I ever won a fight with him.
Oh, nice.
I was 18, 19 years old. Yep. First time ever. I mean, he beat the snot out. He wasn't, he didn't lightly punch. I mean, it was grab a golf club, throw a radio at you. I mean, Bart was
Railroad ties.
Well, the day that I got a fight and he swung and I went by me and I punched him, he went to the ground. I was shocked as he was. I'd never knocked him out or down. It was a flash knockout. I was like, I just knocked my brother out. I mean, this big old solid. So I turned and I didn't know what to do. He would have jumped on me and finished. Well, I just turned and started walking away. I won. Well, he picked up a railroad tie and threw it, and then he ended up finishing me. So he had no mercy.
Oh no!
But somewhere in there, my pain tolerance and my mental pain tolerance really got high. I can't really be mad about it because I think all the things you go through made you who you were. Do you run across people that are younger than you that you get to offer wisdoms to?
Not often, especially nowadays where like I work in a cubicle. So I work at a university. I don't come around like a bunch of people, you know what I mean? When I worked at student, absolutely. And even like when I was.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah. You were always around the youth.
Oh yeah.
And then you saw the ones in the corner that were you or me. Can you spot you?
Oh, 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love
absolutely.
it. Do you spend a little extra time with you?
Oh yeah.
I do too. I do too. I've said it in here. I said I have to stay raw or else I may miss the next Brett. And you have to let people. I have to let people take advantage of me and abuse it, and that doesn't mean I'm gonna get walked all over. There's a point, but I have to go far enough that I know that guy really means me injury, and he's not just an injured person hurting other people. Hurt people hurt people. And there's a line there. And I'm telling you, I have broken through on some people. I'm one of them that would hurt people because I was a hurt person, and I got with a guy that was 5'6", window washer, and he started telling me stories. And he loved me before I knew how to love myself. And he cared about me before I knew how to care about myself. And he told me the truth. He didn't bullshit things with me. He said, Brett, I don't care about your feelings. I don't care what you think. What I care is, I care at the end of the day what you've done. And then he showed me how to do it. I didn't know any of that. Now, they can clown around all they want, but there's somebody out there that will understand that. I didn't have any more answers. And I love this because that's what this thing leads me to. Is it leads me to more answers. I've got some nuggets from you tonight. Well,
Glad they've given them.
I mean, we'll be posting stuff. I certainly want to get you back. Now, I write a lot of notes, and then the next time back, we'll fine tune about certain topics to talk about. And more of the Megatron. We're definitely going to have him on by next year when me and Dave roll in.
Oh, Brett's got it in his mind. We're going to be there.
Oh, no.
I'll guarantee we're going to be there.
I've already got
I'm
something.
going back, so.
Okay, we'll go. We'll all talk. We'll get. I've already got something like you in a chair. I already see it, and the leg's going to be a gun of some sort. And it's like, I don't know yet. We're gonna. It's going to be good. We won't
As long as you're pushing me around all day.
I am absolutely pushing you around because we get in early. We gonna walk by Brandon. What's up there, cowboy?
Oh man, yeah, the lines this year especially were long. Like
I can only
we went
imagine.
Friday and Saturday. Friday was fine. There was if I were to guess, I would say like 50,000 people or something, which was like it's a huge convention
Yeah.
center. So there was
Yeah, it's
like,
downtown, right?
But you can
Orange
yeah,
County, right by SeaWorld.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know where it is.
So you can like walk through the aisles, no problem. Saturday, it was literally shoulder to shoulder through the entire convention center.
And they
It
don't
was
do
like,
a Sunday?
Thank God they do a Sunday. I
Okay.
just didn't go on Sunday.
Okay.
But thank God there was an emergency because like there was no way anyone would be getting out of there. It's crazy how packed it was. I'm betting at least 200,000 people. It's
And
insane.
I guess obviously they sell tickets and everything. So it's
Because
a
they have
month.
guest speakers and everything.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
yeah, there's usually like themes. Like this year was Supernatural, Smallville, and there was some other big thing that I'm not into.
Was there
So,
any like sexy aliens walking around?
hundreds?
They
So,
like
yeah.
they like getting
Oh,
freaky.
yeah.
Okay, we're going next year, Dave. Oh, we're absolutely going.
Poison Ivy.
Don, you are not coming with us. Dummery, you got to stay home.
You know, Poison Ivy from Batman.
What? Oh,
Poison
yes.
Ivy, there's hundreds of those.
Can
so-
please tell me that the Haley Berry Catwoman was there?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh.
I didn't see any, but like, yeah.
If you that is the most beautiful moment right there, and that Miss Haley Berry and her kitty cat outfit. I have that DVD. My wife bought it. My wife.
no.
It's the most B-rated movie. It is bad acting. It is, but she is so freaking beautiful in that kitty cat outfit that my wife bought me the DVD. Just so,
no.
yes, I've never even opened it. I just. But every
Collector's item.
yes, every time that movie comes on, I absolutely watch a few episodes. Yes, sir. She is just woo. Anyways, aliens, sexy aliens, Dave. We're on to something here.
all right.
Okay, you're an alien altogether. I'm thinking with or without the leg. I don't know yet. That could be like a wormhole thing. I've got some.
We're going to go to the Yip Yips.
What is
Yes.
the Yip Yips?
You think they would appreciate? Did he say that? I'm not looking
Yes.
over there. You tell him. No, you tell him, Dave. You tell
The
you
Yip
old
Yips were
fart.
like an old Sesame Street thing, and there were two aliens with big mouths. And they're like, oh, yip, 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 yip.
And it was only their bottom lip.
And they take
No,
their
it's not
bottom lip
awesome.
and put it up over their eyes.
Yes, you would get very irritated if we sat here. So on Sesame Street, you'd be watching it, and it'd be like, what, 15 seconds? Like, yep. And there's like 8 of them.
Telephone. Ring.
Gosh, I don't think that goes along at the MegaCon, Dave. But
Someone will get a kick out of it.
okay, we'll let him help us because he's like on the end. He's a NE, but they're all NEs, and so we got to be able to fit in with the NEs. So I fit in. You're gonna get. He was the jock, so he doesn't know how to be a nerd. He was the cool guy that could always
Yeah,
pitch.
you like Star Wars. You got it.
Oh, yeah.
Now he can fake it, but I'll get in good. I'll just take off my yuppie stuff, which I'm not, and I'll go be the nerd that I am. So I don't know of one person that's been on here that has not brought authenticity. And having this conversation, I was really looking forward to it. I didn't know exactly which way it would go, and it went exactly how I wanted.
Perfect.
Yeah, which is wisdom. The quote you gave and the input that you gave us, I look forward to going back and reading it some more. I mean, going back and rewatching this because I know I missed a couple. I take a ton of notes, and then tonight I go home and I rewatch it. I think when you watch it, you're going to find out you dropped a lot of nuggets in here. I was trying to find out 1 or 2 of them that I threw in there. Well,
See one, do one, teach one.
Oh, that one. Well, that's the quotes, but even the website you gave. I mean, the website you gave us of these people, and I'll try to put some of them in the comments, but you gave enough. See, I guess I could put them all in one comment, can I?
Might as well. Or the description of the video.
There you go. So I can go back and readjust. Okay,
Yeah,
I need to do that. I didn't think about that. Okay, I will do that. I'm gonna put these in the description and everything of the video. But I can go do that with some of my old videos too, because I haven't
Yeah, you
linked
can edit
them.
them. Yeah.
I haven't linked them and everything. So
Put them in a playlist.
yeah, Brandon, this will not be your last stop at All About the
Look forward to
Grind.
it.
I am so grateful and proud to know you and your mother, not because of what y'all bring to me personally, but you motivate me in different ways. So you're just a kind soul, and you're a big son bitch, but you're a kind soul. And I mean, that
Gentle
speaks,
giant.
yeah. But that speaks volumes for you. But you also, I talk a lot. And yeah, you talk and you've been very entertaining, but you're very good at being quiet too. I'm not. And I'm learning. And I'm not. And I'm learning. And
Like
so
the laugh from Dave. There.
no, because he knows. I mean, we all know. I know my weaknesses. I know my strengths. There's a time where a lot of my talking is really good, and there's a time, even in the interviews, I'll go back and watch, and I'll tell 3 stories of mine in a row when I got you here, you know, or someone else here. And so you live and learn, and you keep getting
Sure,
better.
podcast. You're allowed to have fun on it.
I do have fun. I have fun watching y'all come to life. I have fun. You're used to this world. So it's fun watching people get in here that are uncomfortable. And the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm trying to get around to get them talking, and all of a sudden they just open up. And this has been really enjoyable for me.
Oh,
So thank you so much for
awesome
being
time as
on
well.
All About the
I'm
Grind.
glad to have hosted this for you.
You actually were the first guest host
Yep.
at All About the Grind. Episode,
I believe it's 14, but we're going to check.
we're going to double check all that.
Yep.
All right, listen, folks, if you love what you see here, tell your friends about us, share it a little bit, hit the little like button, send me a
Notification
bird.
bell.
Yeah. Say something nice about Brandon, say something ugly about me, talk about what we should dress Dave up in, get involved on the
Oh, yeah,
community.
we need suggestions on that.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on the community thing. We're going to take a picture of Dave, and we'll show the leg and everything, and then y'all can start.
Has Dave been on the video side of the podcast yet?
Yeah,
Okay.
twice, 2 or 3 times.
Oh, that's right. You've done like full episodes.
Yeah.
Three times now because
Yeah.
we did the initial
Initial,
one, then we did the catch up one, and then
Then that
when
idiot
the-
stood us up.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
You know the bozo. So, anyways, you have to be nice to him. I don't. So, anyways, yeah, he'll never. I blocked him. He'll never get a hold of me. So, you go on to somebody else's website. You get one shot here, buddy. And if you hit it right, but if you're going to call the day of on a
Yeah,
podcast
that's
and
pretty
disrespect
rude.
me, get out of my life, kid. You weren't an earner, and so you saved us a lot of time. And me and Dave had a great time chit chatting. So.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And I don't mean any disrespect to that guy, but this is just sort of what I do. I cut him. I'm 54.
Yeah, there's no reason.
2/3 of my life is over. I ain't got time for you lazy dragon takers. I'm looking for givers. And if you're a giver and a grinder and you're interested to getting on the podcast, you got a story you want to tell, you don't have to be a Mr. Everybody Knows You. There's a young man that walks by people that may not know who he's about or may have preconceived notions, and he's dropping nuggets that I don't even know. That's what I love about the world. So we'll see you folks on our next episode. Until then, rise up.
Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt, I was raised on. Know how to put
Got
in
my
work.
young blood in
Running
here.
all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick as tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness inside.